Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
Create culture. Don't watch. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal.
More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself. Question authority.
Code has been popularized.
All right, welcome back, True Seeker. We still got the audio problems on TFR. It might just be that way until the end of TFR days because I just cannot get contact with the man who used to be right on top of everything, Mr. Chris Gio. But thank you, everyone who's tuned in tonight. Again, this is the Gematria Effect, Wednesday night, 6 p.m. to Pacific, or 6 p.m. Pacific to 9 p.m. Pacific. That's 9 to midnight Eastern every Wednesday night. Well, except for the ones where I missed the show. We're here, and it is always nice to hear from new callers. Again, we got a lot of the same callers each week. It's nice to hear from new people. If you want to phone in tonight, the number is 213-233-3998. Excuse me. Having trouble with my words as we go on the radio tonight. But unexpected story just breaking right now as we reach the top of the hour. Henry Kissinger. Dead. And what do you know? He's dead on his 187th day of his age. That fateful 187 homicide code in some police books. Very special number to the Jesuits, the Masons, the Bible, of course, the Abrahamic religions based in the Torah, which is 187 chapters. Huge number 187. A lot of rituals in Washington, D.C., of course, with 187. In Gematria, both George Washington and Washington, D.C. have a numerical value of 187. Again, just like ancient and accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, just like Society of Jesus, just like Holy Roman Empire, it's a big-time number, 187. And, the last, off the top of my head, the last prominent Jewish member of the federal government to die in a 187 code was Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Of course, Henry Kissinger is also Jewish, and the Abrahamic religions begins with the Torah, which is Jewish. But yeah, big news right now. And again, if you don't know about Henry Kissinger, he was an aide to several presidents. He's been a part of a lot of administrations. Some people say there's more blood on his hands than any other living person, which is now no longer true because he's no longer living. But kind of a big warmonger. And with regards to warmonger, monger kind of sounds like Munger. And of course, yesterday, Charlie Munger, dead at 99. Today, Henry Kissinger, dead at 100. Charlie Munger is Warren Buffett's right-hand man at Berkshire Hathaway. And the thing about Charlie Munger dying yesterday was it was the day leaving 33 days left in the year. And, of course, in Gematria, Munger equals 33, like masonry, both words that start with M's. Of course, in every language or every alphabet that has an M, the word for mason does begin with the M. But Munger, masonry, order, secrecy, federal, all those words with the 33 Gematria. Again, Washington, D.C., the Masonic city. The house of the temple there, the Scottish Rite with its highest degree of 33. The pillars on the outside of the temple, 33 in number, each 33 feet tall. So Charlie Munger's death yesterday, big name, been around for a long time. Henry Kissinger, dead today. Big name, been around for a long time. And yeah, I'm sure there's a lot more to the Henry Kissinger death and the Charlie Munger death. Honestly, I haven't looked into either too much, but those things do stand out on the surface. And another big name that's making big waves, they're not dead, but Mark Cuban. You might have heard yesterday he announced that this will be his last year on Shark Tank, the hit show. And then rumors started also yesterday that he would be selling the Dallas Mavericks, the basketball team he's owned for 23 years. And then today the headline came that he sold it to Miriam Adelson, the wife of the late Sheldon Adelson, who's claimed to be the biggest, most proudest Zionist in the whole world, and he made his money in casinos and taking advantage of gamblers. And now his wife, who's continuing that casino business, she's now going to own the Dallas Mavericks. And we're going to look at what a ritual this is and how it's truly perfectly synced with the death of Sheldon Adelson as well as Miriam Adelson. And again, the power of gematria, this Kabbalistic code of numbers hidden in words, very simple to learn, very easy to apply. And once you do, you just see that the cabal, the big club that George Carlin talked about that we're not in, they're working by this knowledge every day. Notice Sheldon Adelson died January 11th, 2021. And from his death to his wife acquiring the team is 150 weeks later. And again, the team she gets is the Dallas Mavericks. And we're just days after the anniversary of JFK's assassination. Of course, that happened in 1963. You might have noticed on November 22nd, the Dallas Mavericks beat the Lakers, getting to 6-3 away. Remember last year you had the dead Kennedy's drummer, dead at age 63. This year you had the assassination of the politician on August 9th. We talked about why it mattered so much. If I'm not mistaken, that's the anniversary date of JFK's child dying right before his own assassination. But that politician's assassination had a lot to do with 63. Anyhow, JFK killed in Dallas in 63. Now a big move in Dallas a week after the anniversary. The reason it matters that it's 150 weeks after Sheldon Adelson's death is because in gematria, Dallas Mavericks equals 150. And remember, there's more to that number than just Dallas Mavericks equaling 150. We've been hammering this point home since Alec Baldwin's killing of the Ukrainian woman on the set of Rust right before Russia-Ukraine. Again, it was in the church shootout scene, and at the beginning of the 21st century, what was very popular was the movie about the Illuminati in the church, the Catholic Church. In gematria, Illuminati equals 150, and they had to let you know that Alec Baldwin shot that Ukrainian woman at 150 local time. Illuminati equals 150, so does heliocentrism. Remember, the reason these things matter is because the heliocentric model says the sun, which the Catholic Church worships, is at the center of the universe, and it's 150 million kilometers away on average. And a lot of rituals with this number 150. In terms of Illuminati tribute, I'd say this is one of the latest examples. But again, Dallas Mavericks 150, Illuminati 150. The Illuminati was founded by the Jesuit-trained Jewish man Adam Weishaupt. Remember, the Illuminati was founded May 1st, 5-1, by Adam Weishaupt in the year 1776. In gematria, Dallas Mavericks, like we just said, equals 150 when you take the alphabetic order. If you take the alphabetic order and apply numerology, Dallas Mavericks equals 51 instead, just like Adam Weishaupt, the founder of the Illuminati, and Miriam Adelson's acquisition of the Dallas Mavericks comes on her 51st day of her age. Her birthday is October 10th. So on the 51st day of her age, she gets the team 150 weeks after the death of her husband, when Dallas Mavericks equals 150 and 51. And again, this shouldn't shock anyone. This should just be further confirmation of what we've been teaching for the last decade is true, that there is an Illuminati, that it is the Jesuits, because again, in the 16th century, they came into being. The calendar named after the Pope came. English of standardization as a 26-letter alphabet with the agreed-to spellings used today. All these things happened in the same moment in history, and you can see how the members of this Jesuit cabal, this Illuminati cabal. Remember, the Illuminati was created by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt in the time of the Jesuit suppression, which was the same time the United States of America was created. But anyhow, perfect ritual between the late husband and her. And then there's also the piece about the history of the Dallas Mavericks. If you look in history, they were actually created on May 1st, so the anniversary of the Illuminati's establishment, in the year 1980. And that would have been the 204th birthday of the Illuminati, 1980, May 1st. Again, that's when the Mavericks were established. In Gematria, again, it's based on the alphabetic order forwards and backwards. Jewish mysticism equals 204, and it equals 201. Whereas Order of Illuminati also has that Gematria 201. Again, Adam Weishaupt died in history 201 days after the anniversary of its establishment. It's kind of like how State of Israel equals 201, and David Ben-Gurion died 201 days after the anniversary of its establishment. But the Mavericks, born on the Illuminati's birthday, now this major Illuminati ritual all these years later, you got to think about how it's Dallas, right? And I mean, there's a part of it is connected to it being shortly after JFK's assassination anniversaries we'll get to. But Dallas is in Texas, the Lone Star State. Just like how Israel, again, Sheldon Adelson said he was the biggest, most proudest Zionist. You know, he put a ton of money into that nation, put a ton of money into Donald Trump, who all of his children are married into Jewish families. If you didn't know that, look into it. Sheldon Adelson, huge financial backer of Donald Trump. But, and Donald Trump's another one of these Jesuits. He's part of this Illuminati cabal. He's in the club that we're not in. A lot of people think he's a white hat, but that's because they're under mind control and can't see the obvious. Anyhow, these perfect rituals, these same dates in history, these same repetitive number patterns. Again, you really got to think about it. Adam Weishaupt, 51. Dallas Mavericks, 51. Founded on 5-1. Miriam Adelson, the owner on the 51st day of her age. Dallas Mavericks, 150. 150 weeks after Sheldon Adelson's death. This man who was all about Israel. Israel's on the warpath right now, right? Well-financed military in Israel, unlike in Gaza. You know, the nation of Rune. The open-air prison, as they call it. But yeah, this happening at this time while this war is going on and in the Lone Star State. And the thing was, you have to look, I can tell you, if you want to look up the game, on the internet, you can go back and watch every NFL game. It's crazy. But go back and look at the last time the Detroit Lions were in the playoffs. It was about 2015 or so. They were playing the Dallas Cowboys. And they were beating the Cowboys up in Texas. And again, I bring this up, and I brought it up a few times in the last month or so, but I'm going to bring it up again. During that NFL season, there was a Dodge automotive commercial, you might recall it. It was showing the old Dodge logo, which has the Star of David, the symbol of Israel, or the Seal of Solomon. And the commercial would be just so highly focused on that symbol. Well, the Lions were smoking Dallas in this playoff match, and then the last commercial on the break before it came back to the game was that Dodge Brothers ad with the Star of David. And the way they made it come out of the commercial break where they scan back into the game, you know when you're watching a sports game and they'll show like the city or the landscape or some geographic feature about the area where the game was? Well, they had the camera over the setting sun in Texas, and they put a graphic over the sun so that it clearly looked like a six-pointed star, just like the one on the Star of David, just like the one you'd just seen seconds earlier in the commercial for the Dodge brothers. And again, we were making the same point back then. We're like, well, part of the joke must be, Israel with the star. Here we are in Texas with the Lone Star. And then next thing you knew, the Cowboys. They were just on fire. Refs giving them every call, every penalty, every yellow flag. And next thing you know, the Cowboys have turned the game around. They come from a big deficit. Now they're winning the thing. And I could go back and dig up that archive video somewhere because I do still have that footage saved somewhere on a external hard drive. But or you can just go back to the last time the Lions were in the playoffs right now, because that was it. It was the Lions-Cowboys game. Lions ended up losing, And the whole game turned around right after the nice Star of David moment. So it just flashes into my mind in light of this latest thing going on with Texas and sports, and now arguably the most Zionist, power couple there ever was, Sheldon and Miriam Adelson. And the other part of this that starts to get real interesting. By the way, for all of you on TFR, we do stream this show on YouTube, streaming on GematriaEffectNews 25 if you want to join. But I do have visuals up on the screen. That's the advantage of also having the YouTube there. You can see on the screen how in Gematria, Dallas Mavericks equals Adam Weishaupt equals conspiracy equals 51. And that list goes on. Words like federal and Rome are 51 and should make you think of Area 51. But going on with this perfect ritual. And again, this is how it all started to make so much sense to me so long ago, back in 2013, when I was looking for what was going on with numbers and rituals and news. And I found this Jewish practice of coding numbers into words known as gematria, like we realized way back in 2013. Numerology and the numerical values of words, which is gematria, they're apparent. Today's date numerology, the day that this happens, today's date numerology equates to 83, one of the paths. November 29th, 2023. The way you get that is 11 plus 29 plus 20 plus 23. You're taking the date and adding it in 4 numerical separate parts. 11 for the 11th month, 29 for the 29th day, and then plus 20 plus 23, the year in 2 parts, which equates to 83. In Gematria, Miriam Adelson equals 83, the woman who gets the team today. And keep in mind, 83 is the 23rd prime number, and here we are in 2023, and Mark Cuban's given up the team after 23 years, and the word end equals 23. And there's been a number of other similar rituals like this year, where we've talked about the relevance of 83, the 23rd prime, and end, and things coming to an end. So, Forbes recently put out an article and said Miriam Adelson is the 44th richest person in the world. She is number 44, Miriam Adelson. Forbes put her at 44th. Bloomberg put her at 42nd, but Forbes put her at 44th. Very interesting that she gets the Mavericks right now, because the Mavericks are in their 44th season, right? So Forbes just said she's the 44th richest. Now she's got the Mavericks in the 44th season. Remember, this is shortly after the assassination of JFK, who was the 35th president, but the 44th term president. And 44 is this fateful number. Again, the first president to die in office died on 4-4. Of course, MLK on 4-4. Lincoln did get it in a 44 ritual. So did Malcolm X. But JFK killed in Dallas as the 44th term president. And the name Mark Cuban, the anniversary that just passed of JFK's assassination, November 22nd, 2023, was the 60th anniversary of JFK's assassination. In Gematria, Mark Cuban equals 60. Remember, JFK was elected in 1960. Lincoln was elected in 1860. This fateful pattern was 60. We've even been talking about how much it connects to the deaths of recently Kobe Bryant, Daryl Dawkins, Moses Malone, more recently Bobby Knight, and then Walter Davis the next day. So this 60 number has been fateful in the NBA in recent years. It's also been fateful with the presidency. Again, the elections of 1960 and 1860 ended in assassinations, and now the 60th anniversary just passing in Dallas, only for Mark Cuban, Mr. 60, to give up his team, just like Donald Trump equals 60. And remember Trump's big 60 ritual with death for this upcoming 60th presidential election, because the upcoming election is the 60th. It'll be the 60th time the American people vote for a president. Remember, last year, July 14th, 2022, was exactly 60 weeks into the first ever Jesuit Ignatian year, which ran more than a typical calendar year. Began May 20th, 2021, ended July 31st, 2022. 60 weeks into that Jesuit Ignatian year, there were 3 successive stories in the same day. The first was that conservatives against Trump had brought 60 legal cases for why he should not run in the next election. Then the next story for Trump that day was that he hinted he would run for the 60th election. And then the third story that day was that his ex-wife fell down the stairs and died. And We talked about how obviously Jesuit that was, only for him to then go on and bury her on the 201st day of the year when they had their first child together on the 201st day of Trump's age, which again is the mega Jesuit number. That's why the first Jesuit Pope is the first to live in Suite 201, and why Event 201 went down while Trump was president, and then he was perfectly synced with the whole cooties pandemic that came out of it. But anyway, as we've been showing, this Jesuit Masonic Illuminati cabal, they run the sports leagues, they do rituals, they're predictive programming, from the Oval Office to what happens on the court. It's all part of one big script. And then even when you look at where they rated her wealth, CNN today, in CNN's article about Miriam Adelson, it just says she's worth $33 billion. But if you look at the recent Forbes ranking that put her at 44th as the 44th richest person in the world, it says she's worth $32.7 billion. And that stood out to me because look at Dallas's coordinates. Dallas is on the 32nd parallel. Its coordinates are 32.7 degrees north. And Dallas sprawls into the 33rd parallel with its suburbs. So Miriam Adelson taking over the team today, November 29th. It's the day leaving 32 days left in the year. And that's a big number for the Mavericks. The only championship they won was in their 32nd season, back when they beat LeBron with Dirk Nowitzki wearing number 41 when Dallas equals 41 in Gematria, and the city was established in 1841. Again, 41 is the 13th prime, going right back to the Illuminati. But the thing about today, again, today leaves 32 days left in the year. That also means that today is the first of the last 33 days of the year. So 32, 33, coordinates of Dallas. Her supposed wealth. Again, I'm just pointing out the numbers that they put in these articles, these stories, just day out. I mean, we've been talking about the same stuff, the stuff they've done with Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. Today we're talking about Miriam Adelson. You just see that all these reported numbers, they're nothing more than ritual. And the rituals correspond with the dates. And these things go on day after day. And most people just don't catch on. In light of Dallas winning their only championship in their 32nd season. Remember, Dallas, the football team, calls itself America's team. The word America equals 32, like 7-4-17-76 has 32 date numerology. But when Dallas won that championship in their 32nd season, they won it June 12th, 2011. Remember, the finals was also won this year on June 12th. And we pointed out why it mattered this year. It's number 41's birthday, George Herbert Walker Bush, with all of his connections to Texas. The 41st pick of the draft, Nikola Jokic, won the finals this year. And they outscored Miami by 41 points in the series, winning the series 4-1 on Bush's birthday. And, of course, the Rangers won the World Series, synced up with the Bushes this year, 4-1, the 119th World Series on George W. Bush's 119th day of his age. But anyhow, Dallas also won this finals on George Herbert Walker Bush's birthday. And remember, he was number 41. Skull and Bones equals 41, as does Dallas. And it was his 87th birthday when Dallas won their first finals. That matters because it was 1987 that Bush announced he was going to run for president, back when he was the vice president to Reagan. You had 8 years of Reagan, and then you had 4 years of Bush, and then you know who Bush lost to, right? Bush lost to Clinton, and then the city of Dallas got hot and won a bunch of Super Bowls once Clinton was in there. But in light of Bush, or the Mavericks winning their championship on Bush's 87th birthday, and 87 being such an important year to his legacy, notice that in Gematria, Clinton also equals 87, right? And again, what we're showing year in and year out is how rigged these games are, and how when you're aware of this knowledge, you can see the bigger picture, and how it's not just the sports game that's rigged, it's your political office. And then it all starts to make sense, because again, you just follow the breadcrumbs, you go, wow, look at that. All the American sports are credited to Freemasonry. Washington, D.C. is known as the Masonic City. The Bushes, they're big Masons. There's a club and we're not in it. However, you can join Freemasonry, but are you ever going to get to be at the ranks of the Bushes? No. These people are born into it. It's bloodlines. It is Illuminati. But yeah, Clinton also has that Gematria 87. And again, remember, Clinton went to Yale. he never said what secret society he was a member of, but both the Bushes who went to Yale admitted to being in Skull and Bones. Bill Clinton might have been in there as well. You don't have to disclose if you're a member, but the Bushes did. And Prescott Bush, the senator who was the father of George Herbert Walker Bush, was also in Skull and Bones. They say he stole Geronimo's skull, and from knowing that factoid, it's what allowed us to call the 115th World Series dead on before the playoffs began, why the Nationals beat the Astros, what it all had to do with that season and the season after George Herbert Walker Bush's death. But I knew this wasn't an accident when I looked at who Mark Cuban bought the Dallas Mavericks from. I couldn't remember when he got the team, who he got it from. Do you guys know who Mark Cuban got the team from? This Bush-Clinton thing is not an accident because Mark Cuban bought the team from Ross Perot. Mark Cuban got the Dallas Mavericks from Ross Perot. And if you guys don't know the history of Ross Perot, they say that Bush lost the election to Clinton because of Ross Perot. Ross Perot ran as an independent billionaire and got a whole lot of votes, and they said all of those votes would have otherwise went to Bush, and that was one of the main reasons that Clinton won. So I didn't realize that Ross Perot had the basketball team, but when I saw it, I was just like, God, what a joke it all is. And you guys remember? I'm almost tempted to. I still remember the day Ross Perot died. If you ever look at CNN's front page, they'll have like one big story that's the cover story, and then they'll have three smaller photos of like the three next stories. The day that Ross Perot died, in one of the... Oh, shoot, we got a commercial break. We'll be right back, everybody, and then I'll finish up the point about Ross Perot. Maybe I'll dig up the post. Sit tight.
How can I say that I can do something and then go out and do it? To the people that are watching in your life right now, think about this. There's something that you want to do. There is something that you, I told yourself, man, 2 years ago I should have started it. Yeah, yesterday I should have started it. And tomorrow I'm going to. But you're afraid. You're doubting yourself. Every minute you get, think about it. You have the ability to do it. Just say you can. Understand that there are people in your lives that are waiting on you to flourish, waiting on you to accomplish, waiting on you to go to the next level, waiting on you to achieve all of your dreams, to succeed in a way that you have imagined yourself achieving for so long. Understand that. And then tell yourself that you can do it. Tell yourself that you can do it.
Extendivite is more than just a heart tonic. Do you have any of these symptoms? Night cramps in the hands and feet. Your arms and legs often go to sleep. On short walks, do your legs get aches and pains? Is your memory worse than it used to be? Ankles that swell late in the day? Has your blood pressure increased lately? If you answered yes to even one of these questions, you may have early warning signs of arterial blockages. Your body is saying that it is time to take Extendivite. These are not the normal signs of aging. They are the warning signs that accompany blocked arteries. Get your Extendivite today. Extendivite is available in capsule or liquid form for just $69.95 for a 2-month supply. To get started, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with extend your life.
Hey everyone, it's Mark Sargent from Strange World, broadcasting live every Tuesday evening, 10 to 12 Eastern, 7 to 9 Pacific, right here on True Frequency Radio. Strange World covers a wide range of topics, from enclosed world theory to lunar waves to the end of the world in film. It's basically doomsday with a silver lining. With the audience as my co-host, we take an optimistic approach to all things conspiracy and promote confidence, hope, and humor whenever possible. If there's a topic you want us to cover or a guest you would like to see interviewed, please email me at msargent23@comcast.net. So please join me and tell your friends about True Frequency Radio, the leader in real radio programming, bringing you quality, cutting-edge broadcasts from around the world.
TFR.
My that is all remain on.
Truth Frequency Radio. To the velvet.
All right, I think we're back. I'm hoping that their music's not really playing on TFR again. The sound's not working on my end, which is why it doesn't sound right for your guys' end either. If you're listening on TFR, it sounds fine, but just makes it a little bit challenging. Anyhow, I went back. This is what I want to show you. So if you're watching us on YouTube, you can see on the screen what I'm about to show. It was Tuesday, a voting day, July 9th, 2019, that the news broke that Ross Perot had died at age 89. And I want you to see what CNN did with their front page that morning. So CNN's front page, the top story that morning was like this. And this just goes to show you the times we've been living in. Just look at this. Look at this bait trash news that everybody should question. The top story that day was crying boy begs dad not to call cops on black man. That's literally the top story, top headline. The next story over is breaking news. Billionaire announces his presidential bid. So, right where that slot is, where it says billionaire announces his presidential bid, and by the way, that was Tom Steyer, but right where that story was, it got replaced like 30 minutes later. Ross Perot dies at age 89 in the exact same place on the page. And Ross Perot was this billionaire who ran for office. Again, Jimmy Carter said that's the thing about America. It's the only Western nation where you have to be super rich to run for office. Other countries aren't like that. But it was just so blatant. And then once we actually looked into it, we're like, oh my God. Ross Perot and Tom Steyer have the exact same birthday. On the day that Tom Steyer announced he's running, Ross Perot dies as the man with the same birthday, born 27 years apart. That what was hilarious is the Google photo at the time of Ross Perot was him doing the hidden hand pose, which is a Masonic pose, where you tuck your hand inside your jacket. So, I mean, you can see he's in the club, right? And I'm just showing you how this exchange from from Ross Perot to Mark Cuban, and now what's going on with the Mark Cuban giving it up to, you know, the super Zionist family, and just right after the anniversary of JFK and where all these numbers fit in historically. It's ritualism. It's high ritual. It's just... And I have to look into how many female owners there are on the NBA. And that's probably going to be one of the big narratives, because I don't think there's a whole lot of female owners, but we're seeing more and more women in high places. And speaking of women in high places, how far off is Kamala Harris? Again, Joe Biden is 81. And as we know, President Biden in Gematria equals 81, the man who supposedly got 81 million votes. His wingman Obama endorsed 81 candidates on 8-1. And, of course, he's from Scranton, Pennsylvania, home of The Office. Scranton off Interstate 81. But Biden's 81 right now. I noticed in Gematria, Sheldon Gary Adelson's 81. Just made me wonder. We all know what just happened to Jimmy Carter. He looked like a vegetable at his wife's funeral. He survived in hospice care supposedly for a year. Looked like Weekend at Bernie's with him at his wife's funeral yesterday. But... again, they left the White House in 81, and then his wife is dead right after Biden's 81st birthday. Again, a lot of parallels between Jimmy Carter and Biden, the way it's been reported since Biden took office. Just all these parallels. Again, the point is the ritualism and how the numbers show the ritualism. Could it be a coincidence that Sheldon Gary Adelson's 81? That part could be coincidental. The part about Jimmy Carter's wife and them leaving the White House in 81 and her dying right after Biden's 81st birthday, that's not a coincidence. That's what these sickos are doing. And, yeah, let me quickly scroll over everything I got up on the screen here. There is more to this. You know, I will make a point about this too. Forbes just said Mrs. Adelson's the 44th richest person in the world. Again, the Mavericks are 44 years old in the Lone Star State, like Israel has the Lone Star flag. Remember how important the number 44 is to Israel's history. Theodor Herzl, the founder of Zionism, died at age 44. And he died in 1904, 44 years before Israel was created in 1948. And then in Gematria, Israel equals 44, Zion equals 44. Again, in Hebrew and in English, Netanyahu equals 44. Netanyahu said that they would not stop bombing Gaza until they got back every single hostage. And he said that literally just hours before the day turned to the next day. And that next day was the anniversary of the start of the Iranian hostage crisis in history. It was the 44th anniversary. He said that hours before the start of the 44th anniversary of the Iranian hostage crisis, when, of course, Hamas is said to be backed by Iran. And realize, I mean, part of the reason no one in America knows what's really going on is because they've never really looked into anything. They've never questioned anything. They've just accepted what the authorities have told them their whole life, whether they were the educational authorities, the religious authorities, the government authorities, the talking heads on TV. Most people in America have never looked past what they learned from those authorities. And they haven't really spent that much time at all looking into anything. They spent most of their time being entertained, whether it was sports, movies, shows, shopping, consumerism, whatever, video games. Again, we have a nation of people that know a lot about entertainment and consumerism, but almost nothing about anything else. And that's why all this high ritual is able to go on so perfectly in front of everybody's face while no one gets it, because no one's questioning. And again, even if you did start questioning from day one and you didn't have anyone to help you, it takes a long time to figure out anything in this world. I mean, it took me over 10 years to figure out the question about the numbers. And I wish I had found Manly P. Hall's book so much earlier in the search. I just wonder how much further ahead we could be. But it's good we found it out when we did. And let me see. Yeah, again, Mark Cuban's also getting out of Shark Tank, and there is something interesting to say about Shark Tank, but I'm going to let that be. Again, CNN's article had to just round off her net wealth to $33 billion as she takes over Dallas, which sprawls into the 33rd parallel. It's a reminder that JFK was shot in Dealey Plaza, named after a Scottish Rite Freemason, where the highest degree is the 33. Freemasonry is a big club, but to get to the very top, not many people up there. So, anyhow, yeah, also just about the Jimmy Carter wife funeral yesterday on 11/28. Remember what's special about 11/28? For one, it leaves 33 days left in the year, and you got this funeral in the Masonic City, where, again, Masonry, Secrecy Order, and Federal are all 33. But more important than that, 11/28. It's a lot like the number 1128, which is the 47th triangular number. And remember how important 47 is to DC. The cornerstone for DC was laid September 18th, 1793, a date with 47 numerology. Again, it's known as the Masonic City. The Masons study the 47th problem of Euclid about how to establish foundation for a structure. In Gematria, president equals 47, as does White House, as does government, as does authority, as does Democrat, as does Republican. If you even just run the alphabetic order in reverse, the letters D and C equate to 47 when you run the alphabetic order in reverse. And, yeah, you know, a presidential related funeral. And it's in the time of Biden, right? And again, Biden was in D.C. as a senator for 47 years before becoming president-elect. And he was the 47th vice president, took office with 47-year-old Obama. And again, right after he turns 81, the wife of Jimmy Carter's dead when they left the White House in 81. It's back when Joe Biden, that was after the 9th anniversary of him becoming senator-elect, and 9 has the relationship with 81. Of course, 81 is the square root of 9. Anyhow, it's all a big numbers game. And, you know, one of the things I wonder, though, is what they do to ensure that these people stay alive for as long as they need them to. You look at all these Rockefeller types and Bush types and just how old all these people live to be. The Queen, Henry Kissinger, Munger, Warren Buffett. Munger died 90 days after Warren Buffett's birthday, and there's only two numbers that when written out as words that equal 33, and they're 90 and 16, sweet 16. So, again, Munger equals 33, like he died on the day, leaving 33 days left in the year. But the other thing about it being 90 days after Warren Buffett's birthday is they're both in their 90s. Munger was 99 years old, and Warren Buffett right now is that magical 93. That's the Lima number. And both numbers are actually highly related to the Illuminati, 93 and 99, and that's because Order of Illuminati has the Gematria 93, and the Illuminati was founded on 99 date numerology. And never forget that this country was named on September 9th, 99, when the United States of America equals 99 in Gematria. And if you run it the other way, it equals 132. And from the founding of the Illuminati to the naming of the country was exactly a span of 132 days. And the Illuminati founded by a Jesuit. The Jesuit served the Roman Catholic Church. Roman Catholic equals 132. Catholic Church 132. 132 rooms in the White House. Anyway, don't forget Antonin Scalia, the first Roman Catholic Supreme Court justice, is another 132, and he died suspiciously on 13/2. But yeah, those are some of the bigger highlights of the recent days, and of course you got the Israel thing as we've been talking about. The first two. Well, it started out with a Jack Bauer tribute, seemingly. Again, it was November 24th that there were 24 hostages released on the 24th. You guys I'm sure you can remember Jack Bauer, which made terrorism real exciting in the time of orange and other color alerts after 9/11. But they said 13 of those hostages were Israelis, and then the next day they released 17 more hostages, and they said 13 of those were Israelis, and it brought it to a total of 41 hostages, the 13th prime. And then the next day they released another 17 hostages to get it to a total of 58. Of course, Freemasonry's 58, Mason's 17, and 13 is very important to Masonry. But anyway, the point is when you're aware of these numbers, you can see that the rituals that they're doing. The reason they kept releasing 13, it's because in Gematria, Jacob equals 13. Jacob becomes Israel. Remember, he dies at age 147, like this war began October 7th, the 147th day at Israel's age. And then the word star itself equals 13. So the Star Nation, getting 13 hostages back at a time. And there's been a bunch of other little numerical tributes they've had in there. The names of the people, the ages, the story about the 4-year-old girl over the weekend received by the Red Cross. If you were watching the news Sunday, that was the story all day Sunday. The young Israeli girl recovered by the Red Cross, and people just didn't get the jokes or the ongoing joke. The date was November 26th, 1126. Look into the history of the Knights Templar who had red crosses. 1126 is the year that the Templars essentially became the Templars because they were funded by the king of France, and then eventually they'd be burned at the stake in France, and then the Jesuits would come out of France, and then the Scottish Rite would come to power in France, and then France, the founders would hang out over there, and then the L'Enfant, the French Freemason, would design DC. But anyhow, you just see how all of these orders are just connected between these nations and history, and just one little ritual after the next. So anyway, that's why you're hearing about the Red Cross recovering the little girl, because that appeals to people's emotions. Oh my God, look at that little girl. We better send some more money to Israel. Imagine if the news media was focused on all the little brown children that have been blown up by Israel's bombs and airstrikes. Where are those stories? I haven't seen a single story like that, like offering emotional support or some kind of emotional concern for the women and children of Gaza who've been blown to pieces over the decades this stuff's been going on. That you never get that story. You're not meant to feel like that kind of emotion for these brown people. You're only supposed to have that kind of emotion for, Sheldon Adelson's kind of people. Sheldon Adelson's kind of people. Miriam Adelson, you should have those kind of feelings for those kind of people. And we need another movie. You know what? I can't keep Fox News on for more than 30 minutes before they keep calling October 6th the Holocaust. They're referring to October 7th as like the Holocaust. It's like, what, really? Oh, okay. what I want here, you know what? Since these people don't want anyone to question anything, what I want in this age, especially when Hollywood puts out all this just like pornographic trash and all these like hard and like more, I'm noticing more and more out of Hollywood, you're getting like these really like detailed gay sex scenes. If you could put all this stuff in front of my face and there's no problem putting out just like murder scene after murder scene, sex scene after sex scene, gay scene after gay scene, give me just clear HD footage from the age we're in of these people that were slaughtered in Israel by these sicko Hamas that I keep hearing about, and how it was like the Holocaust. Because I keep hearing that, but I don't see anything. I see them show me the footage of the, was this a dance party early in the morning? They say a concert was attacked, and they put out this footage, you guys. If you've not actually seen the footage of the concert that supposedly got attacked, I mean, look at it. There's like nobody there. It's like, what kind of concert was this? Obviously, it wasn't very popular. There's like a few people out there just dancing around. Huge gaps between them. How many people you said got killed there? It didn't even look like hardly anybody was there. Looked like this was the least popular band in town. So again, the what they show you on the TV doesn't add up with the claims and what they want. Your money, your donations, another war, bombing more brown people because they're sick psychopaths that don't respect the great, beautiful young Jewish people who should really care about. Again, show me the atrocities. Show it to me. Show me something. I'm tired. I'm just so sick and fed up of, and again, I don't mean to pick on Jewish people, but it really is just an accurate description. I'm sick of Jewish people on TV crying about their group, like their group is the most important group, and how people need to give up their rights and liberties and more of their tax dollars and this and that for them. Because that's what it always is. That's what it is with Sandy Hook. That's what it is with Stoneman Douglas. That's what it is in Michigan with their attorney general, who just had her friend stabbed to death on Netanyahu's 74th birthday. Remember the Ides of March, the 74th day of the year. Remember that fatal stabbing of Caesar. But it's just so annoying. It's so annoying. I'm tired of it, and I'm just tired of the news being like, oh, we can't show this because it's too disturbing for audiences. It's like, please. The same people that run this news network are the same people that run the porn networks and all this other crap that's just like through everybody's phone, that's in every 12-year-old's hands. They know they're polluting the world with filth. So I don't think it's filth to actually show the atrocities that they're constantly talking about that have happened for why we need to give up, again, more rights, liberties, and tax dollars. Show me those things. You're showing me those things in Hollywood for entertainment that doesn't look much different than reality as far as everything's come along. So just show me the carnage, whether it's Sandy Hook, Stoneman, and let's not forget Stoneman Douglas, you guys. At Stoneman Douglas, they literally reported that the majority of the victims of the shooting were killed in room 1214. Remember, that's the date of Sandy Hook, December 14th. And we talk about why that date's so connected to 187. That's why the day George Washington died in history, too. Fateful day is December 14th. But at Stoneman Douglas, they said the majority of victims were killed in room 1214, and that wasn't bad enough because they also told you that room 1214 was what class? Who can remember what class they said it was? Hint, Stoneman Douglas is in the Parkland, Florida neighborhood, which they reported was about 80% Jewish. But they did tell you that room 1214 was in the middle of Holocaust remembrance class. You see? It was Holocaust remembrance class. And just funny enough that just like all the parents that were so gung-ho to take away rights and liberties after Sandy Hook, the Lenny Posners of the world and whatnot, same thing at Sandy Hook, or Stoneman Douglas. And at both schools, they had to show you lines of kids putting, like, with their hands on each other's shoulders. Oh, all the symbolism. But they just got to give you, like, the same type of photo, the same scenes, the same story, just a little bit older. And let's not forget they were the Stoneman Douglas Eagles, and the first student who told the story talked about how her grandfather survived one of the first mass shootings in history in Philadelphia, and the school's called the Stoneman Douglas Eagles, and their logo is just like the Philadelphia Eagles, who just won the Super Bowl in Minneapolis, and Stoneman Douglas is named after Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, who was from Minneapolis. Anyway, again, just the sports and the news and it all coming together. But, yeah, why doesn't everybody else want the same thing? Show us the atrocities. If you have to wait till the 10 o'clock news when the kids are in bed, fine, wait till 10 o'clock. The kids should be in bed getting rested. Sleep's important when you're little, so you grow up as high as you should grow, as big as you should grow, as smart as you should grow. I think a lot of children don't get enough sleep anymore, too. I think that's also part of it. Sleep deprivation, everyone in front of screens, too much sugar. Anyway, I'm getting off the topic, but yeah, I'm so sick of being told by talking heads what happened and how awful it was, and it's another Holocaust, and I haven't seen a thing. If you want all this from me and to support a war and to show me how ugly and terrible these people are we need to go kill, give me the proof it happened. And don't censor me and say I'm a bad person for questioning. Why shouldn't I question? Where's the proof? You guys, when you go into banks these days, like, Chase will have it, a Bank of America will have it, a Wells Fargo will have it. It's very common at banks. When you go up to the bank counter, what do they have up on the counter for you as a customer? They got a little dum-dum, right? Dum-dums are little suckers. They call them dum-dums. Goes with the freedom. But they got suckers up at the counter, right? And I know that's not just a nice courtesy to the customer. That's like literally an FU from the bankers that run those banks. Calling the customers suckers. Put your money in our bank so we can do our fractional reserve lending, make untold numbers of money, just multiply money because of your deposits, and we'll give you absolutely jack shit back for it. But God, if you're late with one thing, one overdraft, man, we're going to tax the hell out of you. If you didn't pay off your balance at the end of the month, man, ton of interest we're going to put on that. Have a sucker. Have a dum-dum. Hey, by the way, watch Fox News tonight and send some more money to Israel. Enjoy your dum-dum. Hey, take two dum-dums. Take some dum-dums for the whole family. Maybe they'll have accounts here too. But this is it, you guys. This is the nation we're living in. It really is the nation of dum-dums and suckers. And the dum-dums and suckers, they think people like me are the problem. They think, oh, that's just a conspiracy theorist. Oh, it doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything. It shows exactly what they're doing every day. It doesn't mean anything. It's a coincidence the Mavericks became 6-3 away beating the Lakers on the anniversary of the JFK assassination in '63. So, yeah, I think that's all I want to say about that for now. And let's open up the phone line here. If you want to phone in tonight, again, it's 213-233-3998. The number is on the screen. And let's go out to veteran caller in New York. What's up, New York? New York? He might be away right now. I'll come back to him. Let's go out to 562. 562.
How are you doing, Zach?
Doing all right. What's up?
Hello?
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, I met you. I met you over here when you came to Southern California. I took a picture with you. Yeah.
Okay, very cool.
Anyway, I just had a. Yeah. You were smoking a blunt with little Ralphie. I told you wouldn't remember. I said you're not gonna remember me, bro. Yeah, with little Ralphie. Anyway, hey, bro, I just real quick, what is it about time durations? Why are they so important? And also, why do you say that time is the ultimate authority? Thank you very much, Zach, and it's great work, and thank you.
Sure, that is the answer, because everything is about time. Time is the ultimate authority. Again, the reason it's the ultimate authority is because we all only have so much time here, and when our time is up, that's the end. That's the ultimate judgment. Again, you have to read Orwell. I think Orwell kind of like captured everything about the Illuminati, the way they work, the way society is, the reason the cabal gets away with it. And again, who controls the past controls the present. Who's been in control of time in the past is who's control. So, and who controls the present also controls the past. Because if you control the present, then you control the stories and the understanding of the world. So, that's the short answer to your question. Is that a sufficient answer to you?
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, you have a good night. Take care.
You too, brother.
All right. Let's go out to 346. What's up, 346? Hello? 3.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on.
Oh, hey, I'm just listening.
Okay, just listening. All right, appreciate it. Okay, let's go out to Athens, Tennessee, 423.
Hey, Zach, it's Amy. What you doing?
How you doing, Amy?
I'm doing good. I got a question. I was talking to Daria last night, and I was showing her this thing that I've been picking up. I'm going to put the link to it in the chat real quick. You know how, like, you taught us on the kill dates, how kill equals the date numerology, and we're always going to see a death, right? So I've been noticing through these decodes here lately that a lot of these rituals are happening like yesterday. Birch, you know, the Buffett dude. The guy that died, the date numerology for yesterday completely matches Buffett's upcoming birthday. But there is a shit ton of those that have been happening here lately. And I've kind of been documenting them on this blog post to try to keep a pattern to be able to have something to reference, you know?
Sure.
But take a look at that and see if you think there's something to it.
I think there
weird.
definitely is something to it. And when I first started this research, I always decoded everybody's birthday in the year, and I would often draw those parallels. And I don't know why I went away from doing that. But yeah, it's a great observation.
See, I'm just now catching on to it. Yeah, I'm just now catching on to it. I'm like, there's got to be something with these date numerologies because almost all of them are identical. Like even I started tracking it back. Even Tupac.
Amy, I just realized it's I just realized it's going to commercial break. Stay with us, and then we'll continue when we come back.
Hi, my name is Ella, and I'm 10 years old. I'm one of the millions of children born to parents suffering from the sheeple virus. Symptoms include the inability to think for oneself, the attention span of a goldfish, and a strong belief in government and the mainstream media. It is estimated that 1 out of every 2 children are being raised by parents infected with the sheeple virus. But there is a cure. For as little as 19 cents per day, you can become a TFR supporter and help children like me get their daily dose of truth. Together, we will make sure every child has protection from deception.
Tell me more about it. Are you listening? My name is the highest level military intelligence. Keep interrupting me. Guys, you're lying. I will not suffer you people for this. Guys, you're lying. All of it, dude. I'm not doing it to you. I'm just telling you. Oh, he's part of a larger thing as you. You? I understand magical powers. I'm happy with your wizard powers. Oh no, Trump's a small part of the larger Q. You know about this. We're now learning the secret of Q power. He is a Q priest. He is a religion. You told us that Hillary was in a prison. He's a no-meaning person, but he's a lightweight. Barbarian, I guess, was his earlier incantation or incarnation. We have Q on the line. Q shaman. You're a Q wizard. A Q shaman. You are a shamanic wizard. Get that. A Q shaman. Go ahead, Q shaman. Keep interrupting me. You're lying. I will not suffer you people for this. Guys, you're lying. All of it, dude. It's like people that look at clouds, unseated giraffe, unseated elephant. It's no military intelligence. The almighty Q Lord, and you are his priest. I don't know if it's real, whether he's hired to hide. And it's always, there's energy. They got a bunch of Q-tards into the Capitol. You told us that Trump was invincible. You said he was the Messiah. Trump's a regular guy. He's not Jesus Christ. He'll never, when they're wrong, say they're wrong. That's Q on the line. Q shaman. Listen, you're a Q wizard. A Q shaman. You are a shamanic wizard. You get that. The Q shaman. Really? No, you're full of crap. You keep interrupting me. Guys, you're lying. I will not suffer you people for this. Guys, you're lying. You're full of shit. All of it, dude. This is Truth Frequency Radio. The wicked one, obviously under heavy Masonic influence.
Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
Culture. Don't watch. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal. More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself. Question authority. This code has been compromised.
Okay, we're back, Truth Seeker. We got Amy on the line. Got interrupted by the commercial break. If you guys don't know Amy, you should. Her website is cracktheircode.org, and her YouTube channel is also cracktheircode, all is one word. And you're back, Amy. Sorry about the interruption.
Hey, buddy, no worries. Yeah, I wanted to get your thoughts on that because I've been tracking it, like I said in that blog post, and I've just, like, even when we did, like, Megan Thee Stallion, like, I started looking at her when he got stabbed and all that crap or whatever, and hers match. And then I started looking at Tupac and his match to, like, the day he died to, like, the day they certified him golden or whatever it was. And it's just like it happens so much that there's got to be something with that calendar to whenever that date pops up there that matches whatever they did, it's like they're gonna off them, you know. It's like that might be another way that they track when they're gonna kill them, you know.
Yeah, I think it is. And if you go to the early days of my research, that would often be a component of my video. I was looking at what their birth numerology was for their last birthday, or what would have been the birthday in the year they passed. And there often was one of the fateful numbers there, or some clear parallel. So yeah, it is one more thing you can look at, definitely.
Yeah, because it's like they're all matching. It's like that kill pattern, but not using a word. You're just using the date numerologies, you know, for birthdays and days they die, and like things that made them famous. You know, they sell their soul. So the day they sell their soul, it seems like matches the date numerology that they take their soul, you know?
Sure.
You know, like, I feel like it's definitely a strong pattern in it. I wanted your opinion on it, though, for sure.
Yeah, I agree that it is a pattern, and perhaps I should start looking at it again too. So, anything else?
Yeah, check out that post later. Yeah, check out that post later and see what you think. Because, like I said, I've got a bunch of them all in one post, just kind of showing them. I could track them instead of trying to go back through my blog and figure out which one's which because it's so full. But yeah, well, y'all have a good night. I'll be in the chat.
All right, appreciate it, Amy. You have a good night.
You too, sweetie. Bye-bye.
So again, Kissinger's another Zionist Israel hardliner, and he did predict that Israel would be destroyed around this time. And I think he speculated it could end up moving to a place like Ukraine. But look at some of the things that stand out with Henry Kissinger in light of the news coming right after, you know, Jimmy Carter. And we know it's going to be Jimmy Carter any day now too. It'll be his story any day. But Henry Kissinger left office when Jimmy Carter went into office in terms of Secretary of State. Of course, Henry Kissinger was the 56th U.S. Secretary of State, but that was 46 years ago that he left office. And right now we're in the time of number 46. Joe Biden And we know in Gematria, sacrifice equals 46, just like how Genesis 46 is about sacrifice. We know Catholic is 46, 46 books in the Catholic Old Testament. The word religion is 46. Paganism equals 46, which starts to make a lot of sense because the Catholic Church began celebrating the sun in the sky's birthday on December 25th in the year 274 AD, 46 years before they began celebrating the Son of God's birthday, Jesus, on December 25th in the year 320 AD. So again, all those 46 things: sacrifice, religion, Catholic, paganism. And again, you think about it, all these rituals that we're talking about, they're synced up with this calendar, which is synced up with the sun, which goes back to the Catholic Church that began as a pagan cult. But yeah, just lots of number parallels. Henry Kissinger leaves office in 77. Of course, Jimmy Carter just lost his wife after 77 years of marriage, and they were married on the date July 7th, 77 in the year 46. And then Joe Biden announced he was running for president at age 77, and then had all the parallels with Jimmy Carter. And again, he just turned 81 right when, next thing you know, Jimmy Carter's wife's dead after they left the White House in 81. But Wikipedia has a very nice, clean post on Henry Kissinger. Again, you read into if you do some digging beyond Wikipedia, you can see the things that Henry Kissinger's connected to all throughout history. Things including the School of Americas. He's part of a lot of operations that have resulted in a lot of death across the world, and they've all been justified in the sake of spreading, the U.S.'s influence. But here's how the Wikipedia reads for Henry Kissinger, who's dead at age 100 tonight. Again, he's dead on his 187th day of his age, as we covered. But it says he was an American diplomat, political scientist, geopolitical consultant, and politician who served as United States Secretary of State and National Security Advisor under the presidential administrations of Richard Nixon and Gerald Ford. Kissinger received the 1973 Nobel Peace Prize for his work negotiating a ceasefire in Vietnam. That paragraph is just, in a way, it's very disingenuous because Kissinger's been like a consultant to nearly every single president for all this time. Kissinger was a Jewish refugee who fled Nazi Germany with his family in 1938. Interestingly enough, that was 85 years ago, wasn't it? And of course, the word Templar is 85, and the Jesuit motto, Isus Hominum Salvator, is 85, and the war in Israel just began on Templar Day, October 7th, the day leaving 85 days left in the years we've been talking about. Again, the show about the fall of the Templars, Nightfall, begins with, one of the Templars trying to help protect the Jews of France. Show actually begins just before that in Jerusalem. But in the United States, he excelled academically and graduated from Harvard in 1950, where he studied under William Yandell Elliott. He earned his MA and PhD degrees at Harvard University in 51 and 54, respectively. A practitioner of realpolitik, Kissinger played a prominent role in the United States foreign policy between 69 and 77. Again, his big years ended 46 years ago. The sacrifice number. And again, you gotta say in the time of number 46, who gave up his son at age 46 in a big Jesuit ritual on the 150th day of the year. Like we started with 150 and Sheldon Adelson. But between 69 and 77, pioneering the policy how do you say that word? I don't know. But a policy with the Soviet Union, orchestrating an opening of relations with the People's Republic of China, engaging in what became known as shuttle diplomacy in the Middle East to end the Yom Kippur War. Remember, that was in 73. It began 33 years to the day of the headline from the New York Times that said, New World Order Pledge to Jews. And I wish I lived in a world where I could just make videos each day and bring up that headline and say, listen, I find this very curious that the New York Times said the New World Order, which pledged to Jews, October 6, 1940, a date with 75 numerology, when New World Order equals 75, and now this big war's popping off with Israel at age 75, and now these prominent people connected to that region of the world and past chaos, which includes Jimmy Carter and his Iranian hostage crisis. But they're all dying now right at this time after living these long lives shortly after this all goes down. But yeah, I just want what all does this mean that the New World Order has been pledged to them? What all does that mean that they can do? Does that mean that they have the right to have more rights than everybody else? Because that kind of seems like how it is. They have the right to lie to everybody or claim that they're not lying and just you have to go on their word without any proof. If you question them, you're a crazy person, you're an anti-Semite, you're some whatever they want to call you. You should go just over to their 7-Eleven and eat some more Go Yum food products. Again, I think that's definitely part of it. 7-Eleven and its secret Jewish history of Gematria. Look it up. The Forward wrote all about it. The secret Jewish history of Gematria and the 7-Eleven franchise. But yeah, the Forward article about Gematria and 7-Eleven. Look it up, and then it gets into how they have the Go Yum food products, which sounds a lot like Goyim. I just feel like really that's what we're supposed to be. We're just supposed to be these good Goyim that don't question anything and just say, oh yes, Mr. Jew, you are so correct and superior because you are just so beautiful and Jewish. And it's nice how light your skin is because as we all know, those darker brown people don't matter half as much, especially when you watch Fox News. In fact, they don't even matter at all and you better not even care about them or you're a bad person. Just tune into Fox News, they'll tell you every day. Anyway. It's like, is this what it now looks like? Because that was 1940 when that headline was written. New World Order to pledge to do. It's like, man, it's 83 years later, 2023, anti-Semitism equals 83. Now everything's anti-Semitism. If you question any of this, 83 is the 23rd prime. Looks like all this is unfolding so perfectly. I'm sure if I turn on Fox News right now, they're talking about just what a great guy Henry Kissinger was. He took out so many brown people. But, yeah, again, that New York Times article was 33 years to the day of the start of the Yom Kippur War. I mean, just think about it. But it says Henry Kissinger also negotiated the Paris Peace Accords. Oh, where the Jesuits are from. Which ended American involvement in the Vietnam War, which was a big Jesuit ritual. After leaving government, he formed Kissinger Associates, an international geopolitical consulting firm. Kissinger wrote over a dozen books on diplomacy history and international relations. Kissinger's legacy remains polarizing in U.S. politics. He is both venerated by some as highly effective Secretary of State and condemned by others for allegedly turning a blind eye to war crimes committed by allies of the United States during his tenure. The Henry Kissingers of the world, I don't think that they think that they're bad people. I think that they do think that they're doing the right things. And just listen to Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger. Listen to their conversations and the things they've said. They kind of take on a viewpoint of the world that you could see from an Illuminati type. They'll say that, people will complain about them and the things they invest in and the companies they support because these companies are evil for one reason or another. And they'll say, but at the same time, look how these companies are radically changing the world and they're creating productivity and they're giving us higher quality of life. And never before has there been so much abundance. So they see that the things they're doing and the companies they're supporting and the way they're changing the world, they see it as all positive. And again, that's the thing about rose-colored glasses. It's like, well, in the world that they're helping support and fund, there's greater and greater wealth disparity. There's greater and greater suffering. There's more and more just disease and illness, just rampant warfare. Again, I think this is the other perspective from the other people where I was saying, why can't we just stop with all the evil and maybe just get back to more basics and community and nature and agriculture and health and less about financial wealth and more about our health as wealth? Anyway, it's just, it's a battle of ideas, but the Henry Kissingers of the world are running the world and, they're planning everything from... Again, if you go back and look, Henry Kissinger planned depopulation in 47 nations in his 74 conference on that. And again, the number magic goes back to the you-know-whos. So, yeah, I guess the one other thing to say about Kissinger was, of course, he was born in Bavaria, where the Illuminati was founded. And he was born on May 27th in the year 23, but 1900, so that's why he's 100. But the day he was born, May 27th, that's the 147th day of the year. Again, Jacob becomes Israel in the Bible and dies at age 147. This war in Israel began on the 147th day of the nation's age. Kissinger, a big advisor to U.S. presidents, 147 windows on the White House. President of the United States equals 147 in Gematria, like U.S. president. So, Kissinger, he had all the numbers, and people wondered if he would ever die. So here we are. Let's go back out to the callers. And next up, 917, New York City.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello there, Zach. Can you hear me, Zach?
I can hear you.
Yeah, so listen, it's fantastic to talk to you again. I spoke to you a couple of times before, and the only thing I have is a great praise for you, Zach. I mean, it's amazing what you've been teaching. I hope the people are really, really closely listening because, and so that's the first thing I want to begin with. I have a couple of things I want to touch upon. But the first thing is that this knowledge, Zach, is incredible. It's mind-blowing, and there's nothing more important than this as far as I'm concerned, because everything else just pales compared to what's going on, because this is the real shit, So that's number one, Zach. So great praise for you. It's amazing. You're the only one that's doing this, as far as I'm concerned, that's discovered this. I mean, of all the people in the world, come on, it's you that's the one that's breaking it out for us. And it's all absolutely provable. I mean, I can't believe you have like some trolls and all these guys that keep, doubting this. I mean, you have to be an idiot, I mean, just look at the damn, just listen to you. That's all it takes. You just have to listen. Put on your listening ears and listen carefully, and you know how real this is. That's number one, Zach. So the second thing is that the whole damn thing is a big mystery. It's like unbelievable to me. What the heck is going on? I can't figure the damn thing out. Now, the other thing I want to mention is all these things that you're pointing out, right? I wanted you to refer to, maybe you already know about this, but there's a girl that wrote a book called Trans America, and it's by Kathy O'Brien. She was like one of the girls that was prostituted to all these politicians and everything coming from the Illuminati family. And she describes it amazingly, happening from the 70s, how it all came down to and she was prostituted to all these people, to Bill Clinton, how everything was planned. The whole thing is a fucking game. There's no fucking election. There's no shit. She saw it all, right? And she puts it out in a beautiful book. But the unfortunate thing is many of these truths, the real truth, nobody's aware of it. Like the truthers, right? They're just like sort of like 10%. And not even, I would say like 1% out of 100% would be the truthers that really know this. Because 99% are total freaking idiots, Zach. And so now I have, and that raises my second point, which is, I was recently thinking about it. There must be some reason why these people are doing what they're doing, I'm thinking about, for example, if you just let these sheep, let them do what, somebody's got to control the world, it seems to me. Because if you don't, right, these people are going to destroy it. I mean, they're going to eat every fish in the ocean will be gone. They're going to cut every single tree. I mean, if you just let the people do whatever the heck they want to, So something is being controlled, and my point is, we know now. I mean, from listening to you, we actually see the mechanics of how it's all being done through numerology. I mean, before it was all theoretical, and it's like, there's a deep state and everything. But now with your knowledge, right, it is clear, like crystal clear. You can see it, you can test it, you can touch it, you can feel it, literally. And so with this knowledge, now I'm thinking beyond, why would they be doing this? And for what reason? There must be something that we are not catching on to, it seems to me, Zach. So, for example, there's organic, thing that's going on without a doubt. We are aware of it, and I'm sure that you know this. It's happening to everybody. Like whether you're like whoever you are, you're living by the numbers, regardless of where you are, what country you're in, or wherever you are. If you live in a desert somewhere, it doesn't matter. Everything happening to you is happening by numbers, and we are aware of it. So there's an organic thing to it, right? So my question is, what is exactly are these people what is it that they know that we don't know, that they feel is that it's rightful to do this? Like, because I'm thinking to myself, it's humanly freaking impossible for you. You got to justify all this. Like, am I fooling the people to this extent, fucking playing all these games, doing these rituals? I mean, if it was me, I'd be like dead long time ago from guilt, simple guilt, like just because I just did something bad to one person. Your mind is going to kill you. And these people keep doing this like it's like a regular, like you're showing every time. It's a pattern. And it's like, my God, it's like, it's no problem for them, like take out this fellow, kill this guy, ritual, kill him, take him out. And everything is cool. Everything is justified. I'm wondering what the heck is it that they know? So that's one of the angles that I have, Zach, and then I'll listen to your response. So I want to mention to refer you to this lady, Kathy O'Brien. And I don't know if you ever heard of this guy called John Todd.
Yeah, I'm familiar with both names. Yeah.
Yeah, this guy John Todd is also another facet. So after listening to you, and then I read these ladies and I'm making the connections, I'm like, oh my God. I mean, this is exactly what's been going on, and and they don't know the numerology side of it. So she's talking about from the other way. Oh my God, I was taken to Bill Clinton, and then this is what he was doing, cocaine, and this is what she said. So she's giving the angle of how the whole thing was running, but then nobody knows the actual mechanics of the way this is being done, which is the ritualistic side of it, which you're pointing out the numbers. The Aleister Crowley, the wearing the hood and like putting the circles and working with the numbers and, making things affect the world, like all this kind of shit, right? It's like major heavy ass shit, like, only these elites are doing this. Something that they're doing is having an effect, and if something is happening, Zach, and that is a big mystery. I don't know if it's good, or there's something that we don't know that they know. Like, and I'm thinking to myself, like, for example, if I was one of the Illuminati guys, I'd be like, oh, let this guy Zach keep talking about us. He really doesn't know the real reason behind why we're doing all this, After all, I understand that he's like discovering some of these things about us, but after all, he doesn't know the real reasons. We are the great ones. I don't know what the heck they're thinking here. You understand, Zach, what I'm saying? So that's my thing. I wanted to point these out and see how you want to respond. Also, one final thing I want to tell you, Zach, and this is completely besides all this, and it's about this guy, Derek. So I feel that my own thing, from the very beginning that I've been following you and this guy, when he came along and he started the thing on the website, with Derek. I've been following it from the very beginning. It's right from the very beginning, Zach. I thought both of you guys were fantastic. And I never felt like there was any kind of like tension between you guys or whatever. So I was like surprised that, blah, 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 there's something going on. So that's another thing I want to mention to you, because I feel that if you are nice to him, or if he's nice to you, I don't know what's going on, and if everything works out well, that would be a good thing for the truth community. Generally, because basically how the truth community is freaking, very few people are aware of this. So like in that sense, Derek would be like a gem in the bucket, in the big thing, even with all his whatever faults it is. Just as you are like a gem, So that's what it is, Zach. That's my thing. So I just want to finally tell you that for you to look up this guy, Kathy O'Brien, and it's online. It's called Trans America. And she wrote about all these, she mentions Bush, Clinton, and personal stuff, like how she's been actually going into their houses, into the White House, trafficked in there, all the things that the politicians she met, Yeah, you might want to look into that, Zach, and you will find that a lot of what you're talking about will make more sense to you if you do that. And also like this other John Todd guy, And so I'm going to leave it right there because I've been speaking a lot. And the last thing I want to say is because last time I spoke to you, I mentioned this guy, Santos Bonacci, right? That guy went crazy. I don't know if you heard about it, but he just was like cursing out everybody on his live show. This guy's and he was mentioning the Pope and using the C word and the MF word and like crazy, like to the point where everybody like thought he went nuts, So that's just something I wanted to throw out. So I think talking crazy there, Zach. So I'll be quiet and listen to your response to all this.
Okay. About Santos Bonacci, never been a fan. Again, he's somebody who used to attack my work, and I didn't even know who he was. That's how he came on my radar, was from attacking me. And it seems like over the years he's actually followed my tune. It seems like most of the things he talks about now are the Jesuits in the Vatican, so I know he's been watching, and I'm glad he started to expose those things. But Derek, you just talk forever. You just talk forever. I'm trying to answer to your 30 minutes of questions.
Sorry. Yeah.
Derek, again, somebody who I was nothing but nice to and who attacked me out of nowhere. And then recently he came out when I drove across the nation and we met in Wisconsin and everything was fine in person. And then by the time I'm back from New York, he's making videos attacking me again. So Derek's just not a trustworthy person. And I'm glad he made the calculator. That's great. But again, so I mean, that's the thing about Derek. And then why do they use the knowledge? I mean, I've covered that a bunch of times. I can't claim to know all the reasons why, but they do give you clues. They love to give their clues in the dumbest horror movies they put out. There's a movie that came out maybe 5 years ago. It's like probably targeted at teenagers, early 20s. It's called Cabin in the Woods. It's a horror movie about how every spring break there's a cabin in the woods where underneath the cabin is like a CIA government facility.
It's not okay for you to be
I'll be right back. Hold on.
Weak loser. It's not okay. And the reason it's not okay is because you could be way more than that.
There's somebody sitting home right now. There's a young 10-year-old kid sitting home that don't have a father. And he's ready to join the game. He's ready to give up. I'm telling you, don't give in. And don't ever give up.
It's a crime, an ethical crime, for you to allow all that necessary potential to go to waste. It hurts you, it hurts your family, it hurts the world. Really, really, it does.
It's amazing how people have been raving about iAlife all over Facebook. They've been posting their testimonials just because they want to get the word out because it's worked so well for them. If you're not familiar with iAlife, it's a 99% pure CBD oil. But the secret is the synergy between the hemp and the ayahuasca vine, the non-psychoactive component of the ayahuasca tea. We recently received an email from a wife whose husband has Parkinson's. For the first time, he's been able to sleep through the entire night. Another customer reported that they're no longer using NSAIDs because their tennis elbow has been relieved with iAlife. The reports have been phenomenal and much more than we've ever expected. Everyone should have access to this. That's why if you head on over to iAlife.com right now and use coupon code TFR, we'll give you $5 towards your order. And we'll even ship it worldwide. That's iAlife.com, AYALife.com.
Greetings, Earth Explorers. My name is Brooks Agnew, and I am your host on X Squared Radio every Sunday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on the Truth Frequency Radio Network. This is where the past meets the future. We explore the mysteries of the universe and of the Earth. We might go a little past your imagination, but have no fear. You will be safely traveling with us. We will dissolve the propaganda of dangerous people with dangerous plans for the planet. We will discuss the latest technologies and challenges for humankind. We will discover the safest place for you to stand when the thinkings and doings of mankind come flying apart, and how you can be one of the people that helps put it back together. Join us.
No hate, no hype, no fear.
You're listening to Truth Frequency Radio.
We are TFR.
Freedom, and where I be.
All right, I think we are back from the commercial break. If you're on YouTube, yeah, the chat is being bombed by trolls and bots, and it's amazing how fast the bots spam it up. But you do have the ability to block any trolls in the chat. Again, had to get rid of moderators because moderators kept blocking people that didn't need to be blocked. But yeah, the trolls are just relentless. And for all the people who are new to my Patreon, if you ever sign up and wonder why I don't block the trolls, it's because if you block a troll on Patreon, they get an instant refund, and guess what they do? They sign right back up 5 seconds later and start posting even more. So yeah, just being attacked by trolls, it just comes with the territory. And you know, the last caller who was saying, why do they do this? Again, I was explaining the cabin in the woods thing. If you've never seen this movie, it's kind of a stupid movie, but in a way it's kind of profound too. Again, there's a cabin in the woods, and under it is like this CIA government base, and the whole point of the operation is to lure teenagers there for the spring break, or if it's summer break, whatever it is, and they need to sacrifice these teenagers. They need the blood of the teenagers, and they need to get the blood of a virgin as well. Otherwise, the world will be destroyed by, you know, essentially the demons that are out there. If you've never seen this movie, check it out, because, again, you've seen a lot of different things like this. You learned about the ancient civilizations that used to sacrifice people for the gods to make sure that the rain came and there'd be a good harvest next year. I think the people who rule over us have the same types of beliefs today, because why else would they stay so busy at the craft of ritually sacrificing everybody? I think there's also a money element to it as well. I think, you know, again, you can buy a life insurance policy for somebody you employ. I'm sure on a lot of these celebrity deaths, somebody's getting a nice payday. And again, why did they do it by this numerical code, this Kabbalistic code? Well, again, this is the spiritual belief system that says this is how God operates. Again, this is the knowledge that was brought back to Europe from the Templars, that made it to the church, that spread into the club that we're not in, you know, way back when. And again, this is the way they operate. This is the system. It's just like, why do anything? Why bring a tree into your house at Christmas time as a Christian when it's really a pagan tradition? Again, things become customs, rituals, and then people just do them, and then they just keep doing them for the rest of their life, for all their life. So I can't answer the totality of why they do these things, but those are my thoughts on why. And again, there's another creepy horror movie out there, Heredity. And again, it's about a grandmother who dies, and she's part of this occult religion trying to bring back this demon, and she needs like the blood of her family to help bring back this demon. If you haven't seen this movie, it's super creepy, it's super disturbing. It might be one of the most disturbing movies you ever watched in your life. But we did a decode back then on why that movie released on the day it did, and what that day had to actually do with the demon in the film Payman that they're trying to bring back. So again, remember, 72 demons in the Goetia, 72 names of God in Kabbalah, Jesuit order equals 72, President Biden 72, President Trump 72, Biden sacrificing his wife and daughter in 72, his son when he's 72 years old, his wife better watch out, she's 72 right now, you just never know. Maybe that's when Joe goes, while his wife's 72, like how he lost his wife back in 1972. But again, I mean, they're giving it to us in Hollywood. All the movies about exorcisms of demons, almost every movie Hollywood's ever made about that, Exorcist and Beyond, is about Jesuit priests. It's the Jesuit priests with the knowledge about the demons. So, again, it's sorcery, it's witchcraft, it's spells, it's spelling, it's Kabbalah, and it is the Cabal, and seemingly somehow, some way, as crazy as it all seems, it seems to work. Because, like, for the life of me, it's apparent that their spells and sorcery don't work on some of us. I would say that for all of my life, the stuff they've been doing has not worked on me. Because I've questioned everything from the beginning. I've been questioning everything from a young age. Like, there's been no spells. I'm like, it doesn't make sense. I don't care if you're my teacher and you're telling me that. It still doesn't make any sense. No, your answer's not good enough for me. That answer doesn't make any sense. Sunday school teacher, no answers. School teacher, no answers. But they just want to teach you stuff that they learned. Anyway, we're trying to help more people wake up to the spell. And we don't have to answer every single question to do it. Like, we can look and know in an instant why Henry Kissinger's dead on his 187th day of his age. Welcome to the club, Henry. Nice to live to 100. So... okay, he had a long call, but he got cut off by the break. I just want to make sure that he got it all in there. 917, was that a sufficient enough answer?
Hello? You can hear me, Zach?
Yeah, I was just responding to your question.
Yeah. Listen, absolutely, Zach. Listen, fantastic answer. And once again, I think you got it right, but that's what I'm thinking, because I was trying to see that if there's some positive thing in it, but I really feel that it is pointing to exactly what you said, sacrifices. I mean, going back to like the ancient Mayan time, like you said, killing people for the weather and for this and that. And now they're doing it without a doubt. It's exactly, you're nailing it right on the head. I'm trying to make some sense to see that, because when you look at these people on CNN and all this stuff, you just can't believe it. I'm like, they act like so normal and so nice and ordinary and nice people and everything, And then you look at this numerology and it's like, oh my God, I mean, what exactly? And that's what is so shocking to me, Zach. Once again, I have nothing but praise for you. Keep up the fabulous work, and I hope more people wake up. And I just can't wait to... I mean, it's interesting times. It's like every day I wake up, it's like, I don't know what the heck is going on in the world, There's always something to learn. So keep up the great work, Zach, and have a great evening. And I'm going to continue to keep following you. I've been following you forever now. I'm one of your earlier, like way up there, and like, I've been following all your channels. And from the first one that you had and you got cut off, I was right there, So that's why I'm like a big follower of all this. And so I'm so thankful for you for giving me the opportunity to talk to you, Zach. It's always great to talk to you. I wish I could meet you one time when you come to New York next time. I will be there,
Okay.
So I'm going to check you out.
Okay.
It's Mel. You probably remember me, Mel.
Indeed. Yeah, I recognize your voice, and it's good to hear from you.
Yeah, thank you, Zach. Yeah, thank you. People keep telling me that I have a unique voice. I should be like on the radio or something, And I'm trying to like do some voiceover shit, and it's like impossible to get to the right agent. You got to be a member of the Illuminati to do that, apparently. Anyway,
there's actually I can't remember the name of the website. There's a website out there that has assignments available, and they're big paydays if you have the right voice for it. It's like they just need like a 30-second
really,
voice.
Zach,
It'll pay you like $500 for reading something 30 seconds if they like your voice, and there's a lot of options, so you can go.
My God, I would love that. I would love something.
Look,
like
it's
that.
out there. Search for it. That website exists. Yeah, no, look, it's out there.
Yeah, I'm going to look for it. Zach. Thank you for that.
All right. Yeah. Take care.
Yeah. So have a great evening, Zach.
All right. You have a good night.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Okay. Let's go out to 559. You're on. 559. Hello. Okay, they must just be listening. Let's go out to Illinois. Illinois, you're on.
Zach, what's up?
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah, I noticed earlier you were talking about a movie, The Cabin in the Woods. I actually seen that, and you notice how they were talking about like sacrificing people and the whole virgin thing. You know how in the Bible it talks about the 144,000?
Uh-huh.
And how they are people who are pure, or are virgins, that will be marked with the seal of protection, and they will be spared from the wrath of God. And apocalypse, of course, in Gematria equals 113, and mind control experiments equals 113. I have reason to believe that the government is doing this crazy thing with mind control experiments on several people all around. And there's this group of people. There was actually a special on a channel called Vice. And these people are referred to as targeted individuals. Now, the phrase targeted individuals and mind control experiments both equal 120 in the same cipher, that reverse reduction. And of course, that's Illuminati. So I'm thinking, because mind control experiment also equals 113, I'm thinking like, because of all other things, and raptured also equals 113. And you know, that's a thing that also happens in the book of Revelation in the Bible. Now, you talk about this all the time, and you know, we all understand that there's a biblical reference there with the things that, you know, those who are in control do to the public. And I believe these people who are targeted individuals, who is, by the way, sorry for not mentioning before, but these targeted individuals are all claiming that they are victims of mind control by the government. Freemasons within the government who were hired to kill and torment and fuck with the minds of innocent people around the world. And they all are describing the same symptoms, you know, different. It's called V2K, which stands for voice to skull. This mind control shit that happens to be something that, you know, is taken up by the electromagnetic fields, the pulses, that connection through the electricity in our bodies, that they are able to, I'm not sure exactly how it works, so I'm not going to act like I know everything, but, you know, to, you know, take control of the mind using the electricity in this brain to computer interface system that allows them to do so. And all these people are claiming they've experienced the same thing. Now, you know how in the Bible, like you were talking about the virgin thing from the cabin in the woods. And that is one of the things, I'm not saying that's exactly what needs to be a thing in order for you to be constituted as one of the 144,000 chosen. I'm not even saying that it's exactly 144,000 people in certain sectors that they are doing something to. But all these mind control victims claim that they are experiencing the same things. And it says that the 144,000 or 12,000 from each of the tribes of Israel in the Bible, and it says that they're all supposed to be spared from the wrath of God. Now, apocalypse, of course, apocalypse equals 113. So it's mind control and the mind control experiment. Sorry, and so does Raptured. My guess is Raptured is symbolic of just people being killed off by the government. So you have a certain number, you know, of these significant numbers that you speak of all the time in your videos in certain ciphers, and it shows up a certain number of times, which I myself have not figured out yet. It seems like these people, because I actually searched the names of some of these people who were coming up on these targeted individual like social media pages. They are a part of these groups, and they all seem to be experiencing the same kind of mind control symptoms. They all seem to be claiming, you know, it sounds like, you know, kind of far out, but when all these people, of course, are claiming to be experiencing the same thing.
I appreciate the call, but I'm going to move on because you keep saying the same things over, and it's really vague, and it's not to a point. All these people, the same symptoms. What symptoms? What people? You keep saying the same things over, but nothing specific, so I got to move on to the next person. Thank you. Again, you guys, call in and make a point, please. Don't keep just talking in circles. MK Ultra is interesting. Yeah, obviously, the CIA said they ended it. They probably didn't. But I think the real MK Ultra is what we see in our fellow man that's just brain dead, that keeps marching along to the TV screen each day as it gives them one more lie, one more story they didn't need in their head. It's like, how do they keep marching along to this? How is this what they're listening to? Like, that's the mind control. And again, we know most of us haven't been in any CIA lab, but we see that our fellow peers are under this mind control, and we know it's from the school system and the TV, and that's the conversation we need to really be having. How do we break this mind control over our fellow man that can't see the obvious? Let's go out to 718. 718, you're on.
Zach?
Hello?
Yeah, you can hear me?
Yeah, you're on. What's going on?
Beautiful. Just calling because there's a ritual that I guess you missed around the in siege on Gaza. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, Zach. Do you recall what day the siege on Gaza started?
October 8th was the day Israel declared the war.
Okay, and what American holiday was there? On or around probably at that time in America?
Well, we were very close to Columbus Day.
That's right. There are a few nations that celebrate Columbus Day. Of course, the United States, Australia.
So hold on real quick.
Canada.
Hold on real quick. So you said that there was a ritual we missed. Are you saying that we missed the connection with Columbus Day?
Yeah, I'm going to expound on that right now.
Here, but hold on. I just want to go back and remind that we didn't miss the ritual with Columbus Day, and we nailed Monday Night Football that day because we showed how the two quarterbacks on Monday Night Football and Columbus Day both had November 2nd birthdays, which is the day of the Balfour Declaration to create Israel, and we were talking about the invaders and the Europeans and the Raiders beating the Indian packing company that night. And again, we definitely didn't miss it, so we definitely covered it back then. But what more do you have to add to it?
Bad. Okay, let me add it this way. Besides Australia and Canada and the United States celebrating Columbus Day, as a matter of fact, Canada calls that day Thanksgiving Day. So you can think about all the implications and all the connotations of Canada celebrating Thanksgiving on what we call Columbus Day, and the siege ending precisely. If you notice, they said we're not going to stop until Friday morning Israel time, which kind of coincided with Thanksgiving ending. So we have a ritual, a siege that started on Columbus Day or Thanksgiving Day and ended on Thanksgiving Day, which I think it was 47 days. Either way, that entire stretch, if in Gaza, you were under siege. So that was the one part of the ritual that I saw that could have been put in perspective.
Okay, yeah, those are great observations. So, and it all makes perfect sense. Remember, the Catholic Church paid for Christopher Columbus, the Jew. Israel created on 14/5 145 more chapters in the Catholic Old Testament, the Jewish section. So thus the Columbus tributes, how it all fits in with this idea of invading and killing the darker brown people, and history repeats itself, and nobody's getting it while they're watching the football game where the Raiders beat the Indian Packing Company on Columbus Day in the latest FU to everyone. It's just, yeah, so.
The other unrelated thing is that if you look at Revelation 6, I've been meaning to call and tell you this for a while, but if you look at Revelation 6, and you look at the second horseman, if you look at where we are right now in the script with all the war going on, it says, and unto that rider, that second rider, was given a great sword. Now, if you look at the gematria of the word sword and the word drone, they are almost a super match. I can't recall right now because I don't have a camera. And you would notice that every time there's 56 date numerology, every month, that's usually when there's some drone attack or there's something like some sword ritual, I call it personally. So I just wanted to put that out there so you'll keep your eyes on the 56, the sword, the drone.
Yeah, that's a great observation. I'll look into that. Very interesting. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, good luck, Zach. Have a good night.
Yeah, you have a good night. Thank you. Yeah, I definitely do miss things all the time. I don't mean to act like I don't miss things, but we didn't miss that. I mean, we talked about it in a big way. I even got my football notes taken down for hate speech, for showing the Zionist Israel connection in the ritual with that football game. And we also showed the ritual they did with the Jets right after that was another 1-1-2 ritual. The Jets got their first win ever versus the Eagles and became 1-1-2 against them. These two flying things, Jets and Eagles, when the Israeli Air Force is considered to be the best in the world because of all of the funding from America in the West. And Israel's 9/11 and the New York Jets' only Super Bowl winning season. The same year 911 was made the national emergency dialing code and World Trade Center construction began, and George W. Bush got a Yale Skull and Bones, and et cetera, et cetera. But let's go on to the next caller, 951. You're on. 951. Hello. 951. They gave us some Morse code back. We're going to go out to 916. 916, you're on.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
Welcome.
I wanted to make a couple, I normally call them your sports shows, but I wanted to make a couple of more cultural observations here for the Wednesday show. My filter here is going to be through reggae, specifically dancehall reggae. And last year, just to set a little stage, the club banger of the year, I'm a middle-aged white guy, but the club banger of the year was a song called London, and then the Queen died.
Okay.
And Rihanna was the Super Bowl performer, halftime performer, and she showed up in myriad of songs. She's adored in the region in general, but her, the name or the word Riri was everywhere in reggae last year, dancehall reggae, and is nowhere this year. No one's singing about Riri this year. So while she is adored, it was highlighted last year. So this year I'm paying attention to the summer club bangers, and there's 3 themes that overlap with some of the themes you're mentioning, and I want to bring it up to you, to this wider audience. I think they're kind of funny at the very least, but one is not funny. Gaza, everything's Gaza. It's a way of declaring their militancy against the general order, society, etc. You have fully Gaza. The other one is Jordan, and it's to be a Jordan, specifically to reach 23 in the gangster culture, one can be declared a Jordan. And songs are using like specifically game 6 wins championship number 6. If I recall the highlight, I don't have it in my head properly right now, but they're bringing Jordan up this year. I don't remember Jordan being brought up last year. And then the last one is Jim Brown, which is way out of left field. But they talk about Jim Brown badness, like it's a way of being a gangster. And I believe it to be a throwaway line, but one of them is, what you know about Jim Brown's grandson? And 20 minutes on Google, I know nothing about Jim Brown's grandson, or if he even has one.
It's probably LeBron.
So I think
It's probably LeBron.
I know, right? That's kind of why that's why this call's here. Like, it's what father-son league is he talking about? So these are all guys coming out of Jamaica or London, perhaps. I don't really know the artist per se. I just like the music. But yeah, last year was London and Riri, and now we've got Gaza, Jordan, and Jim Brown. I'm like, man, this is all Zach stuff. Well, not Gaza, it's national, or international, but Jordan and Jim Brown are like so specific. Got to be part of the ritual.
Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, and I appreciate more people having more eyes on this and just catching things like that. So super interesting. Thank you.
Yeah, and not my culture. So if somebody international or isn't a middle-aged white guy wants to call in with more reggae-ish observations, that would be awesome. But anyway, those are the words I hear. Thanks for taking my call, Zach.
You're welcome. Appreciate the call. You have a good night.
Yeah.
All right, and sorry, guys, I had the wrong phone number up on the screen for a moment. It's always the 213 number on TFR nights unless the call board's down. So the right number is back up on the screen. My fault. Let's go out to 347. 347, you're on.
Yeah, hello, Zach.
Hello.
Yeah, I think it's amazing what you do with just 4 ciphers.
Appreciate it. Yeah, there are more ciphers than that, but I just kind of stay on those
I think
4.
it's amazing. I think it's amazing. It's amazing what you do with just 4 ciphers. Just only 4. You just knock everything out the park with just 4 ciphers. It's like you say, if you got a roulette table, it's 36 numbers. You could cover 4 spaces on a roulette table. That's 1 out of 9 spaces. Like, you got to be mathematically stupid not to understand what you're explaining.
Well, I appreciate the support. We're going to commercial break right now. My fault. We'll be right back,
And
everybody.
I'm 10 years old. I'm one of the millions of children born to parents suffering from the sheeple virus. Symptoms include the inability to think for oneself, the attention span of a goldfish, and a strong belief in government and the mainstream media. It is estimated that 1 out of every 2 children are being raised by parents infected with the sheeple virus. But there is a cure. For as little as 19 cents per day, you can become a TFR supporter and help children like me get their daily dose of truth. Together, we will make sure every child has protection from deception.
I'm looking at the crowd here and the tens of thousands, probably 100,000 plus people here. And you did it all without burning down buildings? Without looting? I didn't know that was possible. No shit. According to the media,
these explosions are bullshit.
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 When you have a large gathering of peaceful protesters, they're supposed to burn them all down.
These explosions are bullshit.
See that?
These explosions are bullshit.
Bullshit.
It's fine. I told me to be kind. Let justice be done.
We're gonna walk down and I'll be there with you.
Get out
the best yet to come. When you catch somebody in the fraud, you're allowed to go by very different rules. It's so egregious, it's so bad, so base that people don't even believe it can't be true.
That's why my father sends a tweet. Patriots descend to Washington, D.C. Amen. And a woman. No shit. According to the media, these explosions are bullshit. 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 When you have a large gathering of peaceful protesters, they're supposed to burn it all down. These explosions are bullshit. Who could have seen that? These explosions are bullshit. Bullshit. Gather together in the heart of our nation's capital to save our democracy. And Mike is going to have to come through for us. If he doesn't, it will be a sad day for our country.
Hides evidence. Criminals hide evidence.
I had no idea. Who could have seen that coming?
Because you'll never take back our country with weakness.
So let every adversary against democracy, against liberty, be overturned right now.
So we're going to walk down Pennsylvania Avenue.
No shit. According to the media,
These explosions are bullshit.
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 When you have a large gathering of peaceful protesters, they're supposed to.
You must unite, citizens.
We are TFR, Truth Frequency Radio.
Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
Ouch. Don't watch. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal. More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code has been compromised.
Okay, True Seeker, I imagine the sound is close to done now. Again, there is more sound after you hear those last words if you're actually listening on the radio, but I can't hear it because we're doing it on this. Anyway, try not to talk over the sound. And if you do want to call in, we got an hour show left, 213-233-3998. I saw some good callers calling in on my phone when I had the wrong number in, but you guys aren't calling in on the call board. The line's actually not that long right now if you guys want to phone in. And next up is 281. What's going on, Texas?
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, hello, Zach. Okay, so I just want to, there's one thing I want to touch on that I don't think a lot of people have really taken into consideration maybe, or maybe they have, but I just haven't heard it so often. So I know a lot of, or most, pretty much all of your decodes or anybody else doing gematria decodes are mainly focused on what's happening in the America or just the Western world in general. But as I've come to see from looking at other parts in both like what currently goes on today and in history of other countries like Eastern countries that are supposed to be like our supposed like enemies or whatever, that the same rituals and sacrifices by the numbers are happening and not as often, but more frequently than a lot of people might think.
Like, no, they are. I mean, we cover them all the time. Yeah, the same stuff goes on all over the world. That's why we've reminded English is the language that's taught all over the world. I'm pretty sure if you've ever read the Georgia Guidestones and the 10 things on there where it says unite the world in a new living language, pretty sure that language is English. And yeah, I mean, this same stuff goes on all over the world. We've been documenting that the whole time. Sure, I do cover a lot more U.S. news, but we cover international news as well.
Yeah, I know for sure. And so, like, yeah, one thing I want to touch on here, I don't know if you're very familiar with the USSR. In case you don't know, the USSR, the official name is the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, which actually equals 201. But one thing regarding that is...
So, give me the 201 with the Soviet again. You're saying the breakdown of USSR, the actual words in USSR is 201?
The Soviet Union of Socialist Republics.
Okay.
But yes. Anyways, Leon Trotsky and Joseph Stalin there was this ritual with them. Joseph Stalin, I'm sure everybody knows, he came into power in the early 40s, and Leon Trotsky was originally working with him and was a politician over in the USSR. And then they had like major disagreements, supposedly, and then he fled over to Mexico City. And in Mexico City, that's where he was allegedly assassinated by one of Joseph Stalin's assassins. And Leon Trotsky, if you saw his name, it equals 43, like assassination. And he was assassinated with an ice pick. An ice pick equals 43 as well. And this all happened when Stalin was 43 years old. And Stalin was also elected on April 3rd, 4/3.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been going on. So great research. Yeah, it's a great decode.
But yeah, I mean, that's just pretty much all I really want to say. I think maybe I don't really know logistics on this, but if anybody here can reach out to somebody in like a non-English speaking country, like, I don't know, like China or Russia or whatever, and like let them know of this, and we can get more people around the world like aware of this code and, try to put these people to a stop.
Indeed, and that's the thing that I'm amazed of is just the information hasn't spread to more people in all this time. So thank you for that thought.
All right, yeah, that's pretty much all I want to say. Thank you, Zach. Keep
All
it
right.
up.
Yeah, you have a good night. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Let's go out to Philadelphia, 610.
Hey, Zach, you say 610?
Yeah, you're on. What's up?
Hey, man. I'm listening to these people and I'm trying to figure out if I'm the fucking crazy one or if 90% of these people calling in are crazy. I always say Philly, and now I'm down in Sarasota, but I'm really from Coatesville, so there's a lot of people calling in from Philly, so I always said Philly for easy use, but I graduated with Rip Hamilton's sister, Detroit Pistons Rip, UConn.
Okay.
I graduated with his sister. And I can't remember if I told you before, he got a summer league team back in Coatesville, and their summer league team is called Rip City.
Okay.
I thought that was interesting.
Okay.
Rip City, like the Trailblazers and shit.
Yeah. Rasheed Wallace. So.
Yeah. You ran the numbers on all those games, I guess, right? That was all the same by the numbers.
I imagine so.
All right, Charles Thompson, Thonson.
Maybe not Charles Thompson.
All right, yeah, type some shit in for me. I appreciate it. It'll be worth it.
Charles Thompson. Okay.
All right. So this is the guy. I'm the one that calls in with the moon pictures and keeps trying to get you on the 138 thing, the 1902 and all that. So Charles Thompson is the guy who did the Phoenix, like the seal. If you scroll down on his Wikipedia.
Charles Thompson. I don't know. Nothing really came up. Is it spelled with a P or is there no P in it?
Yeah. Do this for me first. Do Brave.com. Get rid of Google. Go to Brave.com, and you can just try Brave search. That'll be worth it too. I'm telling you. So Charles Thompson, Thomson, but do it on Brave.com. Everything that I ask you, just do on Brave.com.
Okay, I got him up here. Charles Thompson.
Right. So this is the guy who did the seal, right? The Phoenix.
Okay.
In this event, this 138 event, like the Misfits, we are 138, and then the Phoenix band that had the 1901 album or 1902, whatever it was. So this guy would have been alive, right? 1729 to 1824. If you go back, I didn't go to math school, but hold on one second, my bad. You go from 1902, so 1764 would have been one of these Phoenix events. Like we're talking like how Antarctica happens, how the Great Lakes happen, right? Also in brave.com, type in vapor canopy. And also, while you're doing that, have you ever saw like a 56, like, and this is crazy how this all comes together, right? So these guys are calling in with, you know, some interesting shit, but none of them can put together a fucking thought. The guy's talking about the voice to skull technology, and all that shit is real. Like the troops over in Iraq back in Desert Storm, they said they were throwing up the flags and coming in because they heard voices in their head telling them to get, like, all that shit was real, but dude can't put a sentence together. So he's saying things like sword, drone. Next dude calls in, says ice pick. Put all those in, 56. Have you ever seen a 56 come up here that's like I feel like every 56 is like not to be fucked with. Like they did all the COVID shit and then they throw in toilet paper.
Sure.
But it's about the 56, it's not about the toilet paper, right? So have you ever seen a 56 where it was like, no, you know, that's not like, you understand what I'm saying?
Like it wasn't relevant?
Yeah, like something that's not a big deal. So did you type in vapor canopy and Brave?
I just like to listen to be able to give the presentations, and I'm just going to assume the information you're sharing is true. I don't like to like type and look up stuff,
All right.
but I got Charles Thompson up here.
All right, so he's the one that did the Phoenix. These events on the 138-year cyclical periods were referred to by Nostradamus and Roshni and these guys as the Phoenix event, or the sky dragon in different cultures. So the vapor canopy is just before the flood, the water existed in the atmosphere as water vapor. The flood occurred when the vapor condensed, fell as rain. But the thing was, during the vapor canopy period, in most hypotheses, it doesn't work because they say it couldn't rain for 40 days and 40 nights. But during the vapor canopy period, it doesn't rain. Every night, like a dew comes out. And like this is all written, it's all written in the ancient traditions. And the archaics dude, the Jason Brashears guy, who I keep trying to get you on to, says this, a lot of this stuff. So Egypt, do you know how many pyramids? I know you know this shit. How many pyramids are in Egypt?
I can't understand what you're saying. Something is in Egypt.
There's 130. They say there's 138 pyramids in Egypt.
Oh, okay.
Egypt like worshipped the 138 number. So while I'm talking all this shit to you, I want you to keep in mind the misfits. We are 138.
Right.
And I know just pulling the Marilyn Manson shit up to say 10 freaks you out, so you know don't bother. But I know you know those fucking lyrics. He's not worried about the coming flood. Almost like he's going to be alive when that shit happens. Something is shedding its scales in the heat of the sun. There's a phoenix shed its scales. Like everybody assumes dragon, right? So if you type in like the bar, like every test the lawyers take, the Bar Association. If you type in the bar in London, you might want to do that so you can see it. It's a fucking phoenix. A huge dragon-looking thing in the middle of the street.
Well, that's what Manly P. Hall says. The real thing that founded America, the real thing is called the Order of the Phoenix. So.
Oh, thank God you brought that shit up because I would have forgot. Listen, the 33rd degree. You got the morals and dogma, the Manly P. Hall shit, and all you ever get for the 33rd is a picture of what?
The eagle.
What is it? 30 eagle. Phoenix, if you look at the original.
Sure.
They don't ever say shit about it in all these years. Is the Phoenix is the 33rd degree. Right? The Tetromorph. You know what that is? Like what the Sphinx originally was, the four-headed thing.
I didn't know about that. The Sphinx was once four-headed? I never heard that before. I didn't know that.
Yes, sir. Sir Flinders Petrie. I told you about him before, but usually you type some stuff in for me and give me some grace that you don't give others. So Sir Flinders Petrie is where most of this data comes from the Jason Brashears guy. So he's the one that mapped out that the pyramid has 138 all over it. Egyptians worshipped a 666-month pyramid.
You know what's interesting? When you look online, everything says there's approximately 138 pyramids, about 138 pyramids. And I'm just like, okay.
Right.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't sound official, but it sounds like a lot of are saying, yeah, it's about 138. It's like, why don't they have why isn't it like, yeah, there's 138 pyramids? Why is it about?
Zach, you're a lot smarter than me, man. You tell me. You ever hear of the Children's Crusade in the year 1212?
Uh-uh.
All right, type that shit in if you can. Children's Crusade, the church. Well, if you go to authors at the time, they say that 100,000 kids just fucking disappeared. The church comes up with some shit called the Children's Crusade that says 20,000 kids volunteered to blah, 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 blah. And made some shit up. You can read what's up there, but that's all bullshit. Authors at the time tell you that these fucking kids disappeared. And 1212 just happens to be a Phoenix year. You can go 1212 plus 138 to 1902 to 2040. And I know it doesn't hit our 19-year thing like you got it exactly, but it's fucking close enough for me, man.
Okay. Well, all right. You gave us a lot of little interesting things to look into. Actually, I wasn't aware about the 138 pyramid thing before, or this Children's Crusade. So I'll do more research.
Zach, did you type in vapor canopy in GematriaEffectNews, or your calculator, whichever?
Did I type in which
Do that for me
date?
once. Type in vapor canopy.
Vapor
in the GematriaEffectNews.
canopy.
Yeah, that's the time period or the theory, the nose flood that happens much more often than they say, if this is all true. But you see, it got to 56 in the fjord.
I see.
Just out of coincidence, does May 15th mean anything to you with any of these numbers you're looking at?
May 15th is Mercurialia. We celebrate Mercury. That's why they had Cladex and Operation Warp Speed on that day.
Get the fuck out of here. All right, so this cyclical event is this dude has it mapped out so tight. I told you about this guy a while back. He caught a bid when he was like 16 or 17 years old. Did 26 years in prison. So he's in the Texas State Pen his whole life, and he's all they got is old books, 100 years old, 200 years old, some 300 years old. So this dude basically took chronology, which is like probably the most ignored thing, because that's how they fuck us up with the calendar and all that. But that 12 years, the Phoenix year, and 1764, which would have been right before with the Jesuit ship, the Illuminati ship, the USA. And the Thompson dude would have been alive for this. Irish immigrant, et cetera, et cetera. But listen, like, I'm educated, man. Like, you gotta look at this dude's work, because if there's anything worthwhile looking at that's on par with your shit, it's this, and it lines up, man. What he says lines up, and then that's like nature of reality shit. Fuck a sports game. Like we see every fucking week guys getting, dude, the Aaron Rodgers and Testaverde shit. The Alex Smith. Like, that's evidence that this is not what kind of reality? Hey, what's the word I'm looking for? A physical reality. That's evidence that this is not a fucking physical reality. We're watching them use these guys as cushions every fucking week, and you're showing them. So, but I mean, that's simulation or whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's all math. All the math always works out, and they know this shit. The knowledge is what separates us. 33rd, the Phoenix.
Indeed. All right, friend. Well, I appreciate the call, and yeah, it's a lot of information. So just let a few more people get in before the break here. But yeah, I'll do some more follow up on these things you shared. So lots of new things for me. I appreciate it.
I'm out of here, man. But thank you. Look it up, man. Appreciate it.
All right. Yeah. You have a good night. Thank you. All right. Let's go on to what's up, Joey?
Yo, so Syracuse football equals 194, and they hire a new head coach, Fran Brown,
194 days after Jim Brown died.
Nice.
Can you believe it?
Sounds like how they do it. Syracuse
And
got that hit.
the coaches.
Did Jim Brown play at Syracuse? I forget what college he went to. Is he one of the running backs that went to Syracuse as well?
Yeah, he went to Syracuse.
Yeah, how perfect. Okay.
And this new coach, Fran is obviously short for Francis, like we think of Pope Francis.
Right.
But he's 41 years old, and Jim Brown in the
Equals
most
41.
pure cipher.
Yeah,
41.
Yeah.
And the coach they fired to get this new head coach, they fired him when he had 41 wins at Syracuse.
Perfect. Yeah, and Syracuse is the orange, like Cleveland Browns, who Jim Brown played for, wear the orange. Yeah.
Yeah, and orange equals 33. And yesterday was the day leaving, 33 days left in the year when they hire him. Because it broke yesterday.
Cleveland and orange both equal
And,
33, yeah.
And the 28th of the month, like Browns.
Mm-hmm.
Browns 28.
Mm-hmm.
And Francis Brown in the most pure cipher is 61, just like Cleveland Browns is 61. And 194 days is 6 months, like Syracuse football, 194. But it's 6 months, 10 days, like 610. And he's coming, this Fran Brown, the new head coach, he's coming from Georgia. Georgia equals 62. Fran Brown has 62 initials. F is the sixth letter. B is the second letter. And that's just... But hold on. I was going to get on a tangent, but I don't want to get on a tangent right now. So the 194, kind of fucking losing my train of thought. But yeah, I covered all the big stuff.
Yeah, you can leave it there. I mean, it's already a pretty complete decode. I mean, you really see the whole ritual. He goes to Jim Brown school, synced with his death, his name. It's just... And again, we see all the universities in the nation doing this. And it just gets frustrating that it's like, why aren't there more Joeys in the world? Joey hasn't even been here that long, but he learned to use the knowledge he sees through the news too. It's like, why? I don't understand why every English-speaking American does not know about this knowledge and isn't just like observing it in their neck of the woods, because this stuff's going on everywhere. And it shows that this is what they're doing. The game is so rigged. So...
Yeah, I remember what I was going to say. Because yesterday, Syracuse also had a basketball game. And they have this star player. His name is Judah Mintz. Of course, Judah. With all this going on with Israel. But he scored a career high yesterday, 33. And orange we covered equals 33. And he did it against the LSU Tigers.
33.
Which equals 33. Mm-hmm. There were 137 total points in the game, the 33rd prime. And Mintz yesterday obviously was 11-28, which is the 47 triangular. But Mintz was 74-47 days old yesterday when he has his career high of 33. Just how perfect that he's 74-47 days old.
7,447 days, but yeah, I see 7447. Yeah, that's my first ever YouTube video, the significance of 33, 47, 74, and how those numbers come together. That is funny. So.
Yeah, and then, I forgot to make this point. Syracuse equals 111, and Fran Brown equals 111. So that was the one point I missed. That Syracuse, both equal 111 like Syracuse.
Syracuse and New York both equal 111. So.
Yeah, New York. And the Syracuse Orange call themselves New York's college team, which they pretty much are because, I mean, out of all the New York colleges, Syracuse is like the only one with really like big time athletics.
Sure.
But,
Carmelo Anthony and whatnot. Jim Brown. Yeah. All right, man.
For sure. All right, man. Yeah. Thanks for taking my call, man. Peace.
Yeah, take care. Yeah, again, I mean, just anyone who ever took the time to learn the knowledge and applies it just sees that this stuff's going on day after day. And I mean, there's just that, what he just said about the way they have this ritual lined up in college, it's just, this stuff's going on all the time. Scripted games, rituals on the field, off the field. Let's go out to 951. 951, you're on. $951. Okay. All right. We're coming up on a commercial break, so I'm just going to hold off so that people don't get cut off. When we come back, we'll go out to 408, and then we got 347. But yeah, here, just to talk about something going into the break. You know, I always appreciate Sam Tripoli, who has the podcast Tinfoil Hat. Again, he's done 2 shows with me in the past, and both shows brought a lot of new people to the work, especially the first show we did. And again, he's always been highly complimentary of the work. And I remember when he first did the podcast, like his show like became about that. Like all he could talk about was Gematria, and he was trying to share it with other people, but he didn't quite have it down. But it's just, you know, I love that he always has all these different guests on, and it's just, there's some people in this world that get too much attention in the truth community, and one of those people is Ole Demigard. I'm sorry, I got to call this guy out, and this is what I'm going to do before we go on the break. Ole Demigard is just a snooze fest. And to have him on to talk JFK when he doesn't really know anything about the JFK assassination, all he has is just the same old boring observations that everyone else has. It's like, this is an insult to the world, Sam. Please, next year, instead of having Ole Demigard on for a 2-hour show of absolutely nothing. If you guys don't know what Ole Demigard is, he always talk about how his parents are some kind of like James Bond spies, and supposedly someone tried to assassinate him. He's got all these stories like this, and I guess people find it more interesting to listen to crap like that than actually get useful information, just rather listen to somebody's hearsay. But it's just 2 hours of nothing. In 2 minutes, I could drop so many facts on the JFK assassination that would be 1,000,000 times more relevant than his whole 2-hour just snooze fest. So, and I don't know why names like Ole Demigard are so out there and everyone knows about his work. Who cares? Shoes and shooting. Yeah, learn Gematria and you'll understand why they do that besides just the sound of shoe and shooting. But I'm just, there's so many names and so many people just get too much attention and they just bring absolutely nothing to the table. We'll be right back, you guys. Commercial break.
Shit is wild, man. Cell phone. She like.
Let me give you 3 key points on asking and receiving. Number 1, asking starts a unique process, mental and emotional. It's like pushing a button and all this machinery starts working. Asking is the beginning of receiving, so start the process. Here's number 2, receiving is not the problem. Receiving is automatic. Failure to ask might be one of your major problems. I don't know. Check it out. Here's number 3, receiving is like the ocean. There's plenty. It's like an ocean here. Success is not in short supply. It isn't rationed, and you stepped up to the window and it was all gone. No. It's like an ocean here. Now, if that's true, what's the problem? Well, some people go to the ocean with a teaspoon. Have you got the picture? See, what you want to do in view of the size of the ocean is trade your teaspoon for at least $1.
The reviews for Extendivite are amazing. Here are some from Amazon. By Christine, great for heart palpitations. By Ann, before I started using this product, every afternoon, my ankles and my hands would be swollen. That doesn't happen anymore. So if that part of their advertising is true, I have to assume that the rest of it is also. Not to mention that when I had my yearly blood test, only a few weeks after beginning to use this product, my cholesterol had dropped over 30 points. I'm going to continue to take it. By Croc, I love this product. It really works. By Brad, works great, thank you. Tell us your story. Get your Extendivite today. To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com. Exchange life with exchange only.
Travis Cook, America's Evil Genius, here to invite you to join us every Tuesday afternoon here on Truth Frequency Radio. No, on our show, you will not see a bunch of three-piece suits or a cocktail party. And you certainly won't see a bunch of inside the beltway bad. But you will see eye-gouging, crotch-kicking, no-holds-barred political discussion, the likes of which you won't see anywhere else in media. America's Evil Genius. We come to you every Tuesday from the outskirts of war-torn St. Louis, Missouri, where there's always a good race riot or sex scandal just around the corner. Join us every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, and noon on the left coast right here on TFRLive.com. America's Evil Genius, Travis Cook, on TruthFrequencyRadio.com.
This is Truth Frequency Radio.
No hate, no hype, no fear. Real people, real radio.
Okay, I don't hear any sound at all, but I'm going to assume the song would be somewhere near ending. And again, I was just ranting about how there's so many people whose names are known in the truth community, and they really don't bring anything to the table. And it's laughable. It's like everybody should know what we know about Kennedy. It happened in the 187th year of the nation's existence, the most infamous assassination, this number associated with homicide. Here we're talking about Kissinger dead today on the 187th day of his age. But again, in Gematria, Society of Jesus 187, Ancient and Accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry 187, Washington D.C. 187, George Washington 187, Holy Roman Empire 187, Brotherhood of Death 187. That's Skull and Bones. Of course, George W. Bush was at Dealey Plaza, or George H.W. Bush was at Dealey Plaza the day Kennedy was killed. JFK assassination in Gematria equals 187. And this starts to help you see how planned it was, how scripted it was, how it was made to be. And then in Sumerian Gematria, 187 becomes 1122, because it's just times 6. Like the date it happened, 1122 in the 187th year of the nation's existence. These things should be understood. It should be understood why it happened a span of 144 days from his meeting with the Pope on 7/2, July 2nd, when Jesuit orders 144 and 72. It goes with why his brother was reported dead at 1:44 a.m. and why Lincoln was shot on 14/4 and why Lincoln blamed the war on the Jesuit order, the Civil War. And the long list of 144 and assassination. I remember this year on August 9th, we were talking about why Biden had the assassination scare that day. All day we were talking about it, and then boom, next thing you know, there's an assassination of a man in South America who's running for office 63 days from his birthday, like JFK killed in 63. Again, this is the relevant information that people need to understand. A guy like Ole Demigard, this guy's been around for longer than I have, but he doesn't bring anything to the table. He had to leave Sam's interview to go do another interview. People just want to talk to Ole Demigard on November 22nd because it's the JFK assassination. What interesting information does he have about the assassination? He doesn't mention about Zapruder being a Mason. He doesn't talk about any of this. He doesn't talk about Dealey Plaza, being named after a Mason, just overlooks it all, doesn't know anything about the number rituals, doesn't know why JFK, the first Catholic, was number 35 and killed at 46, and why Biden, the second Catholic, was elected as number 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday and inaugurated on the Pope's 35th day of his age. It's gross, really. And so, Sam, if you're out there, I don't know. I think Sam got slapped on the wrist because he did lose his channel shortly after he had us on. And, but yeah, it's just, don't be a faker in the truth community. And don't come with these half-baked truths and Ole Demigard type of truths that just do nothing. He doesn't know anything about anything. He never takes you to any... He doesn't show you who the cabal is, why they do what they do. He's just like, there's something about shoes and shootings. Oh, you see those guys in the Zapruder film standing there in the suits with the cameras? Who are they? It's like, who cares? We already got it all figured out. We know who's doing this. The Catholic Church, whose calendar we're on, whose language we're speaking. The Jesuit cabal. The Jesuit Zionist cabal. It's just, to be talking about anything less than this is to be talking about nothing. And that's what most people are doing, talking about nothing. And I'm annoyed with it. I am annoyed with it. All right, let's go out to a man in the Dallas area. What's up, Evan?
Hey, Zach. I just wanted to say that last week I created a video that's an hour long called The Numbers Behind the Texas Rangers World Series Championship. I know it's an hour long, but it's got a lot of important information in there. And I'd encourage anyone watching to not necessarily watch it in one sitting because it's, as I said, it's an hour long, but find the time to watch it, whether it takes 1 or 2 or 3 sittings. Cover a lot of things in there. And yeah, it's just everything involved, all the number rituals behind the Rangers World Series Championship.
Very cool. So that's on your channel?
Yeah, it's the latest video came out 7 days ago.
Okay, Evan's channel, you guys, is called Not a Sports Journalist. So.
Oh, and by the way, I will be changing the name of my channel probably sometime in the next month or so.
Okay.
Because I know you said that you weren't a big fan of my channel name, and I also am kind of getting, it also is a bit of a mouthful to say sometimes. So I think the name will be retired at some point in the near future.
Yeah, I don't think your channel name's that bad, but yeah, there could be one that's better and more specific. So maybe say what you are instead of what you're not.
Yeah, no, I've got an idea in mind though. But yeah, anyways, whenever any of these viewers have time, go ahead and watch that latest video, even though it's an hour long. Maybe you can watch it at 1.5 or 1.25 speed if you don't want to wait an hour. But anyways, yeah, that's it. Thanks for having me on.
Okay, keep up the great work, Evan. Appreciate it. All right, let's go out to New York, 347.
Hey, Zach, you can hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hey, I'll make this quick so you get to some more callers. I want to make this point about P. Diddy. He came out with an album, his 5th studio album, solo album, September 15th. The Love Album, Off the Grid. On the cover, he dressed in all red, and he's in the desert, like walking backwards. So when I saw that cover, I just say, this got to be a ritual or something. Because when they do the red covers and all the red scenes or whatever, it's always a ritual. Now, I remember when that Godfather of Harlem died, that picture of Jay-Z and Diddy together, and then you said they got to wash their ass or whatever. So Diddy's getting his shit right now. What's going to happen to Jay-Z?
Right, Jay-Z turns...
He's too big up to fuck with Jay-Z.
Right. Again, the Black Godfather died 54 years after his record was founded, and then he's in the picture with Jay-Z and Diddy, who both turned 54 this year. Puff Daddy turned 54 at the beginning of November. Jay-Z will be December 4th. But as soon as he turned 54, now he's had these these sexual assault accusations, and I'm sure they'll continue to pile on. Again, R. Kelly was sent to prison at age 54. But you know what this album cover kind of reminds me a little bit of? It reminds me of the Notorious B.I.G. Ready to Die album cover, just with the red and the white. And, of course, his is a little baby sitting there in the middle of the cover. But it jogs my mind on that. It also reminds me of Time magazine, so I'll have to look more into it.
The title album, the Love album, Off the Grid. I mean, he's about to go off the grid. They about to take him off the grid. That's basically what they're saying, right? That his time is up.
Maybe. The word love has that gematria of 54 forwards and backwards in light of his age. So
what you think he's going to do to Jay-Z coming up?
Well, remember we talked about it at the time of the 50th anniversary of hip-hop. He's in that Hawaiian selfie video, and he gets hung right at the 50th second. So
we should be expecting some Jay-Z news soon?
I think it's possible that, something could be coming for Jay-Z, so we'll see.
All right, Zach. I just wanted to make that point quick to see if you picked that up. So,
all right. Good to hear from you. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Zach.
Yeah. Have a good night. Interesting. Okay, let's go out to 516. 516, you're on. Hello.
Oh, hey. This is Larry. How you doing?
Doing all right. What's up?
Not much. Hey, I just wanted to talk about the Rangers' future that you talked about early in the season, and how I saw it also. Because I went back and looked at my ticket that I put in, and I actually put my ticket in on April 2nd. And I went back and I wondered why I waited, because I know you talked about it earlier, like.
Well, it was only 2 days. It was only a few days before. It was March 30th that we saw it. It was opening day. It was the ritual they did opening day versus the Phillies, winning 11-7, 267 days after Bush's birthday, when that's the Philly area code. That was the big clue. So, I mean, you were just a few days after, which is pretty quick.
Right, but what else I saw, I think what I saw was on the second game, I was going to bring this part up. That was 269 days after Bush's birthday, which is the 57th prime. And also, it was on 4/1, and it was 30 weeks and 5 days from when they won it, which was the 305th day of the year. And George Bush equals 163, and they won that game 16-3.
Yeah, good catch. Interesting.
So yeah, I think I saw something on that when I put it in. But yeah, I definitely was onto it because of what you said.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. All right, keep up the work.
All right, we'll do.
You do a great job.
Yeah, you have a good night.
All right, later.
Take care. We got a DK Stonewood sighting. What's up, DK?
Did you just call on me, Zach?
I did.
If you have any more calls on waiting, you can take them and I'll call back unless I'm the last one.
You can go ahead.
Okay. Let's see. I have a couple responses to a couple of these last calls. So the guy was just calling and talking about P. Diddy walking backwards. I think that's more of not like necessarily like or did he say Jay-Z? I can't remember which one, but I don't think that signifies that they're going to die or anything like that. I think that, walking that signifies about them walking that backwards path, going against God, these big Jews that are running the show. And if you look at who's most famous for walking backwards?
Tell me, I can't think.
Michael Jackson.
Oh, sure, the Moonwalker, right.
Right. It's called the moonwalk. Why would it be called the moonwalk, walking backwards? Because these folks who are running the show are actually came here on the moon. They don't belong here. That's why they don't have a country. They keep getting kicked out of all these countries they're trying to take over. They're the people without a country. So, which kind of, shows you they don't belong here on Earth with us. Can you go to your email real quick? I sent you 2 emails. Pull up the one. I did an interview a couple days ago where I I wasn't necessarily planning to talk about what I did talk about, but the interviewer just asked me, a bunch of questions. So I ended up talking about the fake Jews and, their origins and who they really are a lot. So people are interested in hearing just me go down, rabbit holes that I'm not necessarily going to talk about on your show probably ever. There's 2 hours of it in that interview of all kinds of weird stuff. And then, that one you got on there that says rule, right? I titled that one Rule 5-6. So count how many fake Jews are on the left and the right side of Trump there.
Yeah, I see that. You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of being in New York City on September 11th, 2022, when the police came out for us and made a big barricade, and then we had all the Jews dressed just like them, like posing with the cop cars and like using the cop. I was like, what? This like the... What? Because on the megaphone I was calling for Larry Silverstein, and then next thing you know, this scene was out there. The police were out there with the barricades and the lights flashing, and then the Jews were posing with the cops. I was like, what is going on? So.
I remember that. I do remember that. And then there was another caller that was calling in about saying that somebody helped there he goes, the Freudian slip, that helped Hitler didn't write Mein Kampf at all, not even probably one word of it. It just was attributed to him, just like, Karl Marx didn't write the Communist Manifesto and all these other, claims that they've made throughout the years. And then the other caller was calling in about the electronic gang stalking, and most of those people claiming that online are fake Jews. So they're the ones doing the gang stalking at a higher level, and then they have, their lower level minions, like the ones they've surrounded you with, that are coming out with these videos saying they're being gang stalked and, they're being, trolled and all that, when it's just like, this is what these fake Jews are known for. They're always crying wolf, just like Israel's always crying about they're being attacked, when actually they're the ones always doing the attacking. It's always the opposite. You could just count on these fake Jews to do that. They don't have any creativity. All they can do is just, flip-flop what's actually going on, just say the opposite. Have you ever heard of this thing called contingent? You were talking a lot. I've been on in probably a month now. You were talking a lot about 88, like a few weeks ago, 888 and stuff like that. Have you ever heard of contingency plan 888, 48 in a row?
I don't think so.
Yeah, pull that up real quick. Contingency plan 8888. It's pretty weird that they named it that. Why would they use those numbers? Why wouldn't they just name it like a name? I'll keep going while you're looking at that.
Defending against zombies, okay.
Also, you were talking about Tupac. Tupac's real name is Demetrius Shipp?
I've heard it was Parish Crooks.
I was at my dad's house the other day, and for some reason something was on, and I was trying to check who the actors were or something. So I hit the guide, and on the next channel down was MTV, and it was it said real life story of Tupac Shakur, parentheses, Demetrius Shipp.
Huh.
SHIPP, which of course is a Jewish name, very similar to Schiff, or, Jacob Schiff, and these guys were instrumental in bringing in like Federal Reserve and the banking, the fake Jew banking here in America. So, what did you say that you heard it was what?
Parish Crooks. Demetrius Shipp Jr. is an actor who portrays Tupac Shakur.
Oh, is that what it was? Okay, that's what it was. I see what's going on. That's why it was the parentheses underneath. Because I had never heard that before, and I was like, what the hell, Demetrius Shipp? Okay. That makes sense. How you're talking about, in generality, you're talking about like how George Washington, is he, another one of these, actors that have been, infiltrators that have been put in. Did you know that after like the, basically he hung up his uniform as a military general, that he came back to being general in 1790 again to fight against the farmers that were making the alcohol. Before like Prohibition, I forgot exactly what year Prohibition was, but before Prohibition, basically alcohol was like money back in the day, and preachers were being paid in alcohol a lot of times. And you'll hear even people say that today, like, you always want to have alcohol on the side because it's basically, if things go south and there's no money and the money supply crashes, alcohol will be just like money. So this is how a lot of the farmers were making money back then, like real good, actually honest people. And so that's what they shut it down for. So these farmers, because they're always attacking the farmers, so the farmers couldn't make any money. And so these farmers basically, kind of started a bit of a rebellion, and they used the American military to go after these people again and like push them back. And it was led by George Washington. And following that up, you had people trying to circumvent Prohibition by making hard cider. That was because it was made out of apple. So that was like the new alcohol that kind of, since it was like basically like apple cider, it wasn't like it didn't qualify under the alcohol like laws. So that's what people were then using instead, which brought fame to real estate, moguls like Johnny Appleseed, who was a fake Jew, a real estate developer. He was just going around figuring out where you could grow, where apples grew really well. So he was just going around planting apple seeds to see where they would sprout up. And then when they did, then that's the land he would sell for more money because, it was fertile for growing, apples, which then you could get the hard cider from. And then, once George Washington had pushed back, used the American army to push back these farmers that were, fighting to keep their right to, make alcohol out of their crops and sell it. They got pushed, west, and they ended up in an area which is now called Tennessee. And that's why, Tennessee became the whiskey capital of the world, because they had pushed these guys out of the 13 colonies, west, and they ended up in Tennessee. Since you've been on TFR, like whatever it was, a month ago or better, we made a few long videos, like 3, 4, 5 hours, some of them, about, calling out a lot of these fake Jews, trolls that are all around you, that have been around you now for years, that you're starting to realize, it's just a network and blah. So everything that I said is basically coming true. And, I don't know how long ago it was now, a few months ago, where I was kind of, calling out a few people for being, fake followers. And, I was accused of, instigating division in the community. And I said, there is no community. You have a bunch of, fake followers and some sellout niggers, most or all of which apparently have dreads, or braids, or whatever you want to call it. So that the real community is you and a few followers, the ones that usually show up when you go places, and then some of these fakers obviously show up when you go to these small towns too. They will never show up when I'm there, like I had predicted. So a lot of stuff that I predicted is basically has already come true now, and you're starting to. I was just kind of rattling the cage at the time. I told you I kind of did that on purpose, just to kind of rattle the trolls and see who's going to come up and make themselves even more obvious. And then now you have kind of started, doing a spring cleaning in the fall, in the winter, and calling them out and everything. So kind of you're finishing off what I started a while back. And I was, I felt kind of bad doing it, but I figured it was kind of necessary. And now, like, I think you have realized that that's what's going on too. And it is kind of necessary to call all these people out, and you figured out that they're the ones giving you the super chats and the money, just like I predicted a while back, that they're giving you, they're, whatever it is, Fed money or your money back from that they stole from you, whatever it is. I don't know, but it's something to that effect for sure. And you're not the first one they've done it to. I would have to say about what you just said about the Ole Damagard. I mean, Ole has shared my work before and he's had me on before, but I kind of told him the same thing. Like he's too focused on, kind of like semantics. I mean, it's good to bring some of that stuff up, but then you had to move on from there. I told him JFK wasn't even assassinated, and he was like, I don't know if I can go that far. And I never understood or really got why he was saying, his parents were part of Gladio, and, he just figured that out. His parents probably are part of the cabal, or, they used to have like underground, tunnel systems in places where his family was moving. And, he was like, why do we have an underground tunnel under our tennis court? And, all this stuff. So I always kind of found that weird, and how he's kind of like how I think Mark Passio is controlled opposition to push the legitimacy of the fake, founders and all that stuff, how they were good guys and all this stuff. I think maybe Ole could possibly be one of the ones that, because that was one of his main things before, is focusing on the JFK thing with Jim Fetzer, and they're just like basically selling you the fact that was real as well, which I highly doubt it was. He's one of their guys. Why would they need to kill one of their guys? It makes no sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. What doesn't make sense is why people are lining up at the door for Ole Demigard JFK interviews when he doesn't really have anything at all interesting to share about it, and then like nobody's even talking about the work that we put out year after year, which is truly undeniable and actually reveals what's going on, and this explains the entire pattern of assassinations throughout the nation's history and beyond. Hey, on a different topic, since you're Mr. Fitness, I just found something in my own life that I've been ignoring for the last decade because I thought it was kind of just a fad. How do you feel about kettlebells and exercise?
Well, kettlebells are great. I mean, it's just another, shape of a weight. Well, I don't know, it's not like that much big of a difference. People used to use other stuff back in the day, but kettlebell is just like got a convenient handle on it where it can swing around on your wrist, and it's sometimes hard to hold dumbbells in that way. Plus, there's different exercises that you do with dumbbells where you actually need that shape to be able to hold it like the swing. A lot of girls like to use them for the swing through between the legs. That's a lot harder to hold a dumbbell doing that. Usually people do that on a cable machine using like the tricep rope to pull between their legs to get like the glute clenching exercise. So, I mean, I used kettlebells a lot when I injured my shoulder for like rehab, doing various types of planks on the floor and holding the kettlebell up. It's more like a easy weight to balance. The way it hangs off, you can hang it on both sides of your arm, on the like outside or on the inside of your wrist, depending on how you are. And why do you ask that?
I got a kettlebell this week, and I've been doing this kettlebell swing, and I was like, this is a great workout. It really is cardio and muscle. It gets your whole body. I just got a 40-pound kettlebell, and you do like 50 of them in a row, and you feel like you just ran 3 miles. So, and then you rest and do 50 more, and then you're like, damn, I feel like I did a great workout today. So.
Oh, absolutely. Plus 40 pounds is a pretty heavy kettlebell, too. That's not a light one. Yeah. That definitely.
It's commercial break. You can call in on the other number if you want, DK. That's the end of the show, you guys.
When you have a great melody,
see you next week. All right, yeah. So it's all on timers for TFR, but yeah, if you guys are out there and looking for an efficient way to work out, see, kettlebells were becoming a thing in the United States at the same time I injured my shoulder, which was the week before I turned 30, which is when my life changed. And then in that time that I was injured and I couldn't go to the gym and work out and do all the stuff I normally did, I would start reading. And then that's when I found Manly P. Hall's The Secret Teachings of All Ages and finally found the answer to the number thing. But kettlebells were just starting to like become a thing back then. And I don't know, to me it looks silly, but man, I feel like an idiot. That the kettlebell swing is an awesome workout. Okay, you're back on, DK. What's up?
Yeah, where do we end off with the kettlebell workout?
Yeah, we were just starting to talk about kettlebells and the commercial came on.
Yeah, one of my friends, and I don't know if you've seen all the creative kettlebells now they come out with. They have the one that's like Iron Man's head. Have you seen those?
No, but I can imagine it. So.
Yeah, they have a bunch. It's kind of gotten popular out here in LA. Some gyms even have them. Those you buying those fancy kettlebells that has like a shape where it isn't just like a round piece of iron or whatever. They get pretty pricey. So
a lot of the like more mainstream gyms have taken that up too, you know, and it's gotten popular. I mean, and it should be. It's a great it's just another tool in the arsenal, you know what I mean? I don't use them that much particularly, but if I was doing home workouts and stuff, I definitely would be using that. And there's also other ways to incorporate bands, like the elastic bands with the kettlebells and stuff like that. So, I mean, if you're ever super interested, I could kind of send you some stuff on, you know, what to do with them. But yeah, definitely you're going to feel like you've done a bunch of cardio and all that stuff after doing the kettlebells. Even the kettlebell carries, or, you know, walking around just holding the kettlebell like above your shoulder, you know, just statically and stuff. All those different exercises work a lot of muscles in your body that normally, you know, people do like as corrective exercises after you get injured, like injuring a shoulder or something like that, because, you know, holding the weight, you have to hold all these supportive muscles stiff while you're carrying it. So it ends up working those muscles, which are hard normally to work out, and like it's not part of like a normal range of motion, you know, that you wouldn't put much tension on those muscles during your normal ranges of motion. So when you use the kettlebells, it incorporates those muscles. So, but yeah, I think that was about it. I was just kind of saying, and I'll make another, since all my predictions have already basically come true, I'll make another one. I think probably, you know, like you were saying, who has the time to just be there every time you're posting a video, like, you know, early, late? I mean, it's just, you know, they have to be paid for. It's impossible, you know, for one person to do it. So I think probably Charmed One is the fake Jewish kid from Florida. I'm going to make that. He's the one out of nowhere that came out and said, oh yeah, I talked to Charmed One. She's really nice. So I'm like, oh, boom, there it goes. That was the, you know, disclosure where the fake Jews tell you what they're doing, and then, you know, it just goes over your head real quick because you weren't paying attention. So I'm going to make that prediction. That guy goes away. Charmed One is gone too, unless, you know, they're going to probably log in under another thing and create another Charmed One. But yeah, whoever was saying in there, Charmed One's an agent provocateur and all that, I already called that out months and months ago. Yeah, for sure it is. And anyone else who was just hanging around Zach, like, you know, just hanging off his nutsack every millisecond he'd post something, like who that's participating in their regular life has the time to do that, you know? I mean, I would like to hear every stream and be able to call him, but I mean, I gotta live my life too, you know what I'm saying? If I got a job, I got other things to do. And now if I was just getting paid to do that, yeah, maybe it'd be possible. I get a you know, notification every single time that you're on, and then I can start being, you know, I can start posting all the links in the chat and doing all that and just hanging around like, you know, I'm doing something good, just to hang around, you know, and then be activated at some certain point as a sleeper cell, like all these other ones have gotten activated since, you know. It's been like, what, 10 of them you've called out already in the last couple months, most of which I called out before, like the fake Mike, fake Jew, fake news, gay guy with the painted nails and shit. I mean, you know, I wouldn't let guys like that be around me, period, at all. I would just tell them, dude, you're not going to be around me. I don't want, you know, just the way you look, and I don't want anybody thinking bad about me or, you know, what I'm about to say. Like, if we're pounding pavement, just be like, just leave, you know. If you don't want to leave, I'll have to drag you away by your ear, unfortunately, like parents do to their misbehaving children. And then, you know, you got like the little, was he like a crack baby, that guy Cuts or something? He's all fucked up. Like,
well, you know what's funny is Cuts sent me a CashApp for $470, not to pay me, but it was a $470 request, and it shows his birth name, and his birth name is Erin, spelled E-R-I-N, like a girl. And when I saw that, it reminded me of the first transgender person I ever met in Seattle. They were real small like Cuts, and they had a beard, but they were originally a woman, and they had this like funny, gruff voice. And I was like, God, actually, now that I think about it, that's kind of like how Cuts' voice sounds. So, and Cuts is in the Bay Area where a lot of them are. I'm pretty sure that's what Cuts is.
Yeah. I mean, they have literally surrounded you with like the lowest level ones they couldn't give any other jobs to. You know, it's fun. Like they couldn't put them anywhere else in the fake Jew network to use them, and they're like, we're just gonna use these, you know, 30, 40 guys that we just literally. I don't know if you remember in the movie 300 where they had the troll and King Leonidas couldn't give him a job fighting because he was all fucked up. So he just, that's the one that turned on him or whatever, and then ended up selling out Sparta. But yeah, they're just like, well, we can't find a job. Maybe we'll just put you around Zach. How's that? You know, you control Zach's channel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you still planning on coming down to for the Kobe thing, or?
Well, I feel like I need to be there, but again, nothing's changed over here to help me win the argument with Sweet Lady, and now the one thing that's different is she's getting trolled herself. So
Yeah,
I don't know for sure. I can't say for sure that I am going to be there, unfortunately.
We are past the point already, but yeah, I personally think maybe you should not have mentioned so much personal stuff about Sweet Lady, you know, for them to go even be able to figure it out, you know, since they know what town you live in and it's small town, just start calling around, end up finding where she's at, you know?
I think that's what they did. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I would maybe say just apologize to her, tell her it's your fault, or maybe that.
Well, she already knows. She goes. She calls me Hubbard with the big mouth. So.
Yeah, I mean,
anyway.
I know you're kind of just, you know, the way you are, you kind of just like wear your heart on your sleeve, which is really, you know, gracious and it's to be commended. But then, you know, these other people use it to their advantage and, you know, start fucking with people around you. So, you know, make you look like crazy and make them come after you, you know, basically get on your ass for what you're doing, when in reality, you know, you should be doing that. It shouldn't be affecting them, you know, unfortunately.
Yeah. All right, DK. Well, yeah. Your predictions, they might have seemed out there, but yeah, maybe you are right. I do wonder. So.
I'm not like happy, I'm right or anything, but you know, unfortunately, actually, I'm right. But yeah, it just, you know, when I was first listening to your stuff before I even necessarily started calling in much, I was like, something's wrong here. You know, this guy does not sound like an agent, but all these people that are calling in are obvious. Like, what's going on here? This is like cast of characters, you know? And then as I started listening more, I'm like, oh shit, okay, they've created like a whole fake following around this guy, and they're probably going to pull the fucking rug out at some point on him. Maybe they're paying him back the money they stole from him. Maybe they're just, you know, giving him a fake following so he feels like he's reaching people more than he is, or, you know, whatever it is. I mean, you definitely created the whole genre of Gematria. It didn't exist because of you, and then all these ones that came out later, some of which are positive, most of which are, you know, trolls, that was all, you know, on your back. Nobody was talking about this stuff, not even close anyway to the level, basic numerology at the most, but nothing close to the level of where you got. Even when I, you know, somebody like me who knows about all this stuff for, you know, 15 years already, when I heard the way you were going about it, I was like, oh shit, okay, this guy's definitely found some niche. You know, this is how it should be used. I wonder if anybody else, you know, is doing this, and I haven't found one yet, other than people that you taught, you know. So yeah, that's my conclusion and my prediction of what I think is going on overall.
Yeah. All right, DK. Well, I appreciate it as always. Thank you.
Okay, Zach. Have a good night. Thanks for taking the call again.
Yeah. Take care. See you.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, my New Year's resolution already started, and I'm trying to make sure that I work out at least 15 minutes every day. And that just sounds terrible compared to how I used to be. I used to be in the gym an hour a day, every day. Sebastian, you don't need to call in, man. You know who's in the chat that I wouldn't mind hearing from? Is Jeremy White, Mr. Fitness. DK, who was on the phone, is also Mr. Fitness, but Jeremy White's also Mr. Fitness. And Jeremy's also a lot less controversial than DK. He definitely won't offend anybody. But, yeah, hey, Jeremy, if you're out there and you got some more health and fitness tips, that's a phone call I would not mind. And your goblet squats. I've been looking into all the common kettlebell workouts. And, yeah, mastering the technique is the thing to do. I feel like from not using my body the way I used to, it's like use it or lose it. I feel like I'm losing it. Like I said, Sebastian, you don't need to keep calling in. I'd rather the line be open for somebody else. You guys, like, Sebastian, who goes by the name Truth Does Not Exist, he means well, but a part of me gets annoyed that like he calls me more than anybody else. I'm like, isn't there somebody else in the world that wants to call, and like an adult, someone close to my age, someone who's not 18 years old? Isn't there anybody else as passionate about the work in the world as a kid who still lives at home in Florida? Again, Sebastian, appreciate everything you do, but at the same time, it's just like I don't want to pick up the phone because you're a young person, man. It's like is there anybody else out there? Are we reaching new people anymore? It's so frustrating, man. It's so frustrating how nobody's helping who has a platform ever is helping get the word out about this. People are asking to interview more, like literally morons, like Ole Demigard. Ole Demigard is all over the place on JFK Day, and it's like, what's the benefit? Like, so he can tell the story about how he survived an assassination attempt? Is that even a true story? Probably not. Who cares about that story? That story doesn't do anything for anybody. Go out and drop some knowledge about the cabal running the nation by the code they run it by every single day that's so redundant. How come nobody wants to talk about it? Yeah, part of me just feels like, okay, maybe what I want to do is like, I feel like the other epidemic is just anytime I go out in public, all I see is fat people everywhere. You know, what's that movie with Bruce Willis? I see dead people. I see fat people everywhere. Everywhere I just see fat people. I like want to figure out how to get everybody to not be fat anymore. It's just grossing me out. So I don't know. Maybe I want to create a new tons of people have fitness shows and fitness programs, but why aren't the fat people tuning in? I don't know. I mean, people don't want knowledge. They don't want to see through the Illuminati. They don't want to wake up to anything, but maybe they don't want to be fat because there's just fat people everywhere. It's gross. Yeah, Washington, D.C. I'm pretty sure if I go there, I won't want to leave. I think that'll be the problem. Yeah. People are disgusting. People are disgusting. They want to be ignorant. They want to be fat. They want to be sloppy. It's just, ugh. Diabetes is everywhere. Yeah, exactly. Supposedly all the, I mean, You see how the technological advancements have actually contributed to the epidemics, right? Because the technology and the screens has gotten so good that just the children can't escape it. CNN, one of their headlines today is that the only thing that parents are buying for their children this year is some kind of online currency for video games. Robux? Robux, I think. Was a new one to me. Robux. Yeah, short attention spans. So, anyway. You're welcome, D. And shout out to the super chatters tonight. John Mendoza with the $1, Tropes with the $5, and Rick James with the $1. So, thank you, gentlemen. Oh, man. You know, it's just, that's everything we've done to this world, right? It's just like nobody knows who to trust. The guy blowing up the text message right now, he's 100% sure that DK is some kind of Fed agent. And what's funny is I've met both these people in person because they've come out. When this guy right here who's convinced that DK is a Fed agent, when I met him, Yeah Right the Matrix and Angel Baby were both convinced that he was a Fed agent. And then somebody accused Yeah Right the Matrix of being a Fed, who we didn't know he was Chris Emery, the filmmaker. It's just like everybody's like, that person's a Fed, that person's a Fed, that. It's like, what if they're all Feds? Maybe they're all Feds. Maybe that's the game. I don't know who to trust either, but I just give everybody the benefit of the doubt. So. All right, D. I don't know what part of the country you're in, but next time I'm in your neck of the woods, you got to come out. So. Yeah, that really is that's the one thing I think about is just I should be in better shape than I'm in. I'm not in the worst shape, but I used to be in a lot better shape. 20-some-year-old me was in a lot better shape than 40-year-old me. And if it ever did end up being Fallout World, if they take it to that place, your physical body will be very important in that world. Your stamina, your endurance, your strength, your ability to protect yourself. So, reasons to take care of yourself. And shout out to Steve Blur 33. Okay, Sebastian keeps calling. He's got something to say. Well, what's up, Sebastian?
Hey, Zach. I had a question that I needed to ask. I couldn't find the video that you said the email for the book cover illustrations because I have some illustrations.
I responded to your comment. I responded to your comment with the email address to send it to. So you left the comment. I responded to it right there with the Did it not show up? Maybe YouTube blocked my comment.
No, yeah, it didn't show up.
Here, I'll put it in the chat right now. Again, it's GematriaEffectNews@gmail.com. We don't have any submissions for the Kobe Bryant book. So I'm going to have to extend the deadline. It was going to be tomorrow, but we don't have a single submission, which it blows me away. Like in the past when I did cover art submissions, there'd be like way too many entries for me to even go through. Now we don't have any. So that tells me about that we're not reaching any new people here. And a lot of people in the community just abandoned and quit. I think a lot of people quit during the time of COVID. They were just so depressed with the world. But yeah, GematriaEffectNews@gmail.com. So.
Okay.
All right.
By the way, I do 3D animation. I've gotten really good at it. If you want anything in 3D, I can do like pretty much anything in 3D. Also, the Gematria video game, I'm already working on it. I already have like models and stuff, and like I'm gonna do a third-person shooter. Basically, what I want to do is I want to reach an audience of like gamers and people that normally wouldn't be into truth stuff. And like kind of like reach them with like a fun game that's like a cool like puzzle game that like you get to like shoot people and stuff, and it's like a 3D game, and then they find the work through that. I want you as to be the playable character, and I want to use like a bunch of voice clips and stuff like you shoot people and then say like adios loser and shit like that. But yeah, that was my plan. But yeah, that's all I had. Can I comment on the DK stuff or you want me to get off?
I guess to give the other half of the story.
Yeah, the DK stuff. DK is really the only person. I don't like calling people feds or like trying to insinuate that they are, but he's really the only person that makes me think that he is. Because I've been here since I was 15 years old. I'm not a fucking fed.
Well, DK smokes weed. DK smokes weed, so I doubt he's a fed because most feds don't smoke weed.
I smoke weed on stream too.
So that makes it so it's unlikely either of you are feds.
So yeah, if I was a fed, I'd be in deep shit for that because it's not legal here recreationally. So I'm definitely not a fed. I came here really young. I learned Gematria when I was like 10 years old. And Charmed One. I talked to Charmed One. Yeah, so what? That doesn't mean that I'm her. When the fuck would I sleep? She's active when I'm asleep. Like, it's stupid.
But see, the thing that is weird about that is Charmed One doesn't talk to anybody. So why would she talk to you?
I'm a smooth talker. I'm like my dad, and I can talk to people that's doing stuff. And she just the reason why she hasn't talked to people is because she's uncomfortable with talking to people, and she doesn't trust people and stuff. And she had like helping with like personal issues with like my ex and stuff like that. And one time I was just pressuring her, and I told her like, hey, it's not gonna hurt you, if we call, like it's not gonna be a big deal. And I convinced her to do it, and we did it. I've been telling her to talk to you for ages, and she wants to do it on her own time. I can't control what she does, but she'll talk to you eventually.
I know that she probably will. I do understand that people are suspicious of her. That's fine. People can have their suspicions, but I mean, just people saying that I'm her, I mean, that's fucking retarded. I'm sorry.
Well, the reason somebody would say that is because they know that you said you talked to her and she hasn't talked to anybody else. So then they're like, that's interesting.
Yeah. I know, but and yeah, it's like everybody that's like really weird or like that's a Fed or all the people that turned out and called me a Fed. Like, yeah, like, oh, what about the kid in Florida? He's probably a Fed, and it's like he's the one admitting to being a Fed. It's like, why are all these Fed people saying that I'm a Fed? Like, is there something that I'm?
I don't think anybody said you were a Fed. I don't think he said you were a Fed. I don't think he said that.
Yeah, I can pull up the clip. He did. It was on the stream where you were asking him his name and whatever, and he wouldn't tell you. That was the stream that it was on.
Okay. Yeah, I really do just wish everybody would stop fighting and just. I mean, some people are trolls and agent provocateurs around here, and they kind of expose themselves. So anyway.
Yeah.
All right.
I have to fight with people like that.
Yeah, appreciate it, Sebastian.
Anyway, yeah,
Thank you. All right, keep up the good work. You have a good night. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like, I know that what we're doing needs to continue and it needs to get out more and more, but it's just, it's annoying witnessing that, I mean, it's pretty much undeniable that we're not reaching any new people. And the reason I know that's because one of the ways to gauge if you're reaching new people is like an ebook would sell at least like once a week. Somebody might get a t-shirt. Like nothing sells. There's no ebook sales. There's no merchandise sales. There's no new people in the chat super chatting that are emphatic about the work. It's the same callers every week. It's just like, it's not good is what it is. It's not good. It's not motivational. I mean, I'm doing a good job over here. I'm staying on top of things, getting it out, but we're not getting results. And then just to watch things like Ole Demigard, everybody has to have him on to talk JFK. It's like, and he has nothing to say. What is wrong with this world? So, anyway. How do we pay for billboards? Am I supposed to pay for a billboard next to the highway based off the $7 in super chats I got tonight, where Google's going to take 30%? So what's that? They're taking $2.10, so we made $4.90 in how long we've been on here? 3.5 hours, which rates to about $1 an hour. Is that going to pay for the billboard? I don't think so. So. I don't think so. Yeah, definitely not making millions. So, not even close. But yeah, to me, in a way, it's just super amazing that, like, even I know all the algorithm and censorship and deletion has not helped anything, but still, it's amazing to me that big tech can win this fight by doing this, in light of how good the information is and in how much, in terms of how much it should spread. So, for people saying take the call, the line's open. You got to call the number because it's not the same 213 number anymore. I don't have that call board. Here, you want to call in? The number is on the screen. Well, I hear that, tropes, but, you know, I mean, the books have hardly sold any copies in terms of how many people live in the world and speak English. So, when they were new, they still didn't reach that many people. 562? 562? You got to mute your video and just talk through the phone.
5530.
What?
Hey, how's it going, Zach? I'm watching you on the stream right now.
Yeah, what's up?
Okay, I'm gonna turn off the stream because I think I'm echoing, but I'm just calling to say that I'm a big fan of your work, and I've been listening to you for about like a year now. I have a friend that put me on your work, and I'm 22, and I'm trying to get all my friends and family to watch you as well. I think what you do is great, and if I could support you, I would. But I'm a brokey. I don't have no job. I'm in between jobs, you know. I'm trying to just get by. But I just wanted to call in and say that you're doing a great job, and hope you get spread the word. You know, hope the message spreads further in the future. Like, keep on trucking through, you know, like and how it is that you gotta sell your soul. Like, it's the only way you gotta blow up. Like, everyone in LA like knows that. Like, if you want to like get actual like attention to the mainstream media, you gotta have connections, and the connections won't get there unless like you do these things you don't want to do. You know, like it's fun. All right, bye.
Okay. Yeah, so the person who says the tarot junkie says, "Why don't you get a studio and wear a nice suit?" You know, sadly, if we did that, I'm sure we'd have a lot better views because that's what people are into, the eye candy and the appearance, and I don't know. We might eventually have to go that route, but we'll see. 407.
Yeah, what's up, Zach? Quick couple questions. Have you ever heard of Ryan Dawson? Probably you have.
Yeah, Ryan Dawson. Yeah, he always would be debating with Adam Green.
Yeah. So he was on a podcast, not recently, maybe a couple months ago, and they always invite him back. But a pretty popular podcast called Fresh Fit. They usually talk about like dating dynamics, but every now and then they go into like political science, and they brought him on a couple times. So every now and then they have like a call-in show where they let people call in. So I was thinking we could try to get some people to call in there because they allow people to, you know, give criticism and suggestions. So I've been trying for a while to call in so that you could suggest them to bring you on because they're not opposed to bringing on people who have been quote unquote canceled or put into like blacklisted. So I have been trying, but it seems like they only allow people to call in if they donate money. So, I mean, I think it's coming to that point where I might donate money just to have that chance that they suggest, like they give you a chance to get on. Because
I wouldn't say that that's worth it. I don't think it's worth it to have to pay money to go on the show. So no.
Yeah, I've been calling, but they just have like a flood of callers. But another thing that I want to mention is like I know you've talked in the past about like having your own call board type of thing. Have you ever heard of Blog Talk Radio? I think that's a system that lets you create your own call board, and I think it has like monthly plans, so you could pick like whichever one's suitable. But just a suggestion to avoid troll calls that, you know, always block lines in the future.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Interesting ideas. Appreciate it.
Yeah, but like always, thanks for your work. Good stream tonight, and take care.
All right. Thanks, man. Later. So. Five, 6, 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just talk through the phone. The video's behind.
Oh, hey, what's up, Zach? Is this first time caller?
Yeah. What's up?
Oh, hey, I would just have a question. Are you familiar with the work of Larry Gator's spiritual revolution, global spiritual revolution?
Yeah, he's aware of my work too, and he briefly brought it up when Kobe died and told people to look into it, but then he never responded to any of my reaching out to do a show together. So yeah.
Yeah, because he a lot of stuff he says is kind of similar to things you say, but yeah, I was just kind of curious. And have you also ever heard of there was another gentleman, he has a show called Mud Fossil University?
I've heard of it. Yeah, the whole Tartaria thing.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy too. But and I also had a question about like Bill Cooper, about his theory about JFK, about that he says that it possibly could be the Secret Service agent that assassinated him.
Well, that again, the Secret Service was made the same day that the same day that Lincoln was assassinated, and of course Kennedy was shot in a Lincoln, so sort of makes sense.
Yeah, and it was kind of crazy because recently there was a thing about that Biden didn't want to give Robert Kennedy Secret Service protection, and he was asking for it, and they weren't giving it to him because when he was running, just in case something would happen, because he is running, So I just was wondering about that,
Yeah.
And I just first time caller, sorry, and I love your work, and definitely about the Kobe too, because my sister knew somebody who died in the crash. Her name was Christine Mauser.
Are you saying one of the other people that was supposedly in the helicopter with Kobe?
Yeah.
Sometimes I wonder if that's what happened, if people did die, but none of them were Kobe or Gianna, and that just becomes part of the story, but the other people are the proof that the deaths happened, so.
Yeah, because her husband is in a band, and the guy who's the lead singer, that was his wife. She was, her name is Christine Mauser, and she was his kind of like assistant coach for the girls team, and she was on the helicopter with them. So it kind of affected me, all this stuff, and so it's kind of hard to talk with my sister about it and stuff. So it's just interesting. But I just want to call her a first time caller and just to say you're doing good things, and I really appreciate the work. I'm out here in California, and I see a lot of the things that you say. And I kind of got off the sports and everything after kind of watching your show and kind of noticing some things when I would go to these games, like I would go to the Clipper games or the Laker games all the time, to the college games out here. California, you just go to all these sports events, you don't think nothing of it. And after watching your videos, I did really take notice of everything that you're saying about how it's all rigged and just like fake. You just start noticing it more after I've been watching your work, and I just want to thank you for that. But yeah, I just had some questions, and I'm sorry to take your time. I'm kind of nervous, first time caller. So thank you.
You sound great. Yeah, appreciate the call, man. Thank you. Call us back.
You too.
All right, have a good night.
Bye.
For the person who says, what is the end goal vision? Again, I don't have the full vision of everything that needs to happen in the world. I mean, that's up to humanity. But again, the whole point of this channel is wake up to how illegitimate this government is that rules over us. This media is, this education system, which is nothing but an indoctrination system. How illegitimate these things are that people obsess their lives over. These sports leagues that are completely rigged. This collegiate / education athletic system that's total BS. All of this stuff needs to go down. It needs to be destroyed. It needs to be ended. People need to stop participating and being mandated to participate. I mean, that's the point of this work. That's the thing that has to happen. So they're like, well, then what about that? Could it be even worse? What if the world's worse if we take that down? You know what? You should have the courage to cross that bridge when you get there. Are you okay with living under a government that lies to you every day, that starts needless war after needless war and kills more and more people? See, you're okay with it as long as you're still breathing, as long as you can still eat and you still got water and can take a warm shower. That's how most of your guys' mentalities are. You're like, well, I don't really want to do anything because it's still good enough for me. It's like this world's good enough for you, huh? Where you're lied to every day? And you're made to pay taxes to a system that are used to make big bombs and missiles that blow up brown people because they're brown people in the wrong spot, whether that's Gaza or Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan, or, you know, places in the Americas before, or, you know, places in Africa right now. I'm not okay with that. You shouldn't be okay with that. Unless you're like truly. See, I realized this a long time ago. When I learned what Satanism was and what the real values were, I realized I was like, this is like what everybody is. Everybody's satanic. All they really care about at the end of the day is themselves. Even these Christians and stuff, they're actually Satanists. All they really care about is themselves, is the real truth. And here we got a caller from Eric. What's up? Or from Seattle. What's up, Seattle?
I'm here. Okay, I'm calling in regards to Heinz Kissinger, that you've had the picture up there for the last hour and a half, man. And nobody wants to talk about Heinz. Hey, you there, man?
Yeah, I'm here.
Heinz.
Yeah.
Heinz. Okay, so Heinz, his original name, right, equals 73. And he won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1973.
Big year.
And Peace Prize equals 73, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Wednesday equals 100. He died at age 100, correct?
Yeah, correct.
So I measured. So he's Jewish, right?
Right.
You know, Henry Kissinger doesn't sound like a Jewish guy, but if his name was Heinz Kissinger, maybe we would go, is this guy Jewish, right? But it was Heinz Albert Kissinger. But anyway, his birth numerology was 74, and Jewish equals 74. And from 10/8 to his death was 7 weeks and 4 days, like a 74. But it was also 1 month and 22 days, like refugee, because in his Wikipedia it says that his family fled Nazi Germany. They were Jewish refugees, so I looked up refugee. 122, so 1 month and 22 days from the start of the Gaza Israel thing. Also 53 days, and I know 53 has a really, I didn't connect it with anything I found, but I know 53 is that one of those numbers, right? And so he also, Heinz Albert was his first two names, Heinz Albert 177, where he died in Kent, Connecticut, 177. That also equals 60, and also Kent, Connecticut equals 60. His death numerology was 83, as we know, and century equals 83. And he's the one that coined, I'm going to end it on this one. He coined the phrase useless eaters. You ever hear that about him?
I say it all the time, man. I always bring up that quote.
Useless, yeah, exactly. I know, I've heard it so many times. I can't remember when I first heard it, but that equals 84, and Kent, Connecticut equals 84. It also equals 42. That one, there's other numbers, but I was just breaking this down in the lab. I don't know. I just decided to just do a little whatnot on Heinz Albert Kissinger. And he's a Jew, so I knew it had to be connected.
He's dead on his 187th day of his age is really the big stat.
187, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. And there's 83s and 38s all over it.
Right. 83 date numerology.
Also. Heinz Kissinger equals 83. Oh, and he fled. So in the Wikipedia, it says his family fled Nazi Germany in 1938. And so century equals also 38. And we know what 38 and 83 is about. So there's massive numbers. But the 74 and 29 in his date numerology, and also 55. And why he won the Nobel Peace Prize? Because he negotiated the ceasefire in Vietnam, and his birth numerology is 55, and ceasefire equals 55. So, there's just a ton there. It just makes you go, wow, again. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, dude.
And again, the Jews love 50. 50 is a big thing in Judaism. He's dead 50 years after his big year in 73.
Oh yeah, right, exactly, true.
Yeah.
Like the Jubilee. Is 50 the Jubilee?
Yeah, it's the Jubilee. Yeah, so it's like his Jubilee from his Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah, and he lived from 23 to 23. So what? That's a whole other animal right there. And he died.
Judaism equals 23.
Oh, right, really? Okay. And then his birth num was 29 birth numerology, and he died on a 29, right? And 29 is a bigger number too, right? It points to a lot of things as well. Anyway, like he was born into it, you know what I mean? And so you wonder about Heinz. You know?
He's from Bavaria. He's literally from where the Illuminati was founded.
Is it a bunch of bullshit you think they wrote about him like escaping the Nazis, and then he goes to Harvard, right? Harvard University. I mean, he escaped the Nazis, and then like 12 years later, he's a Harvard grad or whatever. I don't know, something like that. But yeah, it's all very interesting. So yeah, and it's a big debt if you think it's a huge debt. This is not a small debt, Henry Kissinger. Because I remember from when I'm 57, so I remember him back to the Nixon administration, you know what I mean? And he's 100 years old, so that's a trip. Anyway, I'll leave you with that, man.
All right, appreciate it, Eric.
Thanks for your work, dude.
All right, yeah, welcome. Later. Yeah, but it's just like again, you guys. It's like I don't know what more we can do from this community. I don't know how many more things we need to call. It's just like it's apparent. I mean, most people just aren't ever going to care or get it. Doesn't matter how amazing the work is, how amazing the predictions are. Doesn't matter. People just don't care enough. They want to watch some mediocre TV show, some trash movie on Netflix, waste 2 more hours of their life. 2 more hours went by. They still don't know anything about anything. So, yeah, again, I mean, I'd almost just rather just from now on just dedicate all my time to health and fitness, because America might need that even more. That might actually be something that they can get behind and do. It's just like I remember last year when I was talking about the benefits of fasting, we actually got a lot of nice comments and feedback. People who lost a whole bunch of weight and getting off the meds they were on, and it's like I don't know. I get tired of working my ass off and proving my point and no further along for it. So. What do I think about the guy who would rather talk about the shape of the earth rather than what's going on earth, and who dresses in dresses? That's pretty much what I think. So. All right, but yeah, I don't think we got any more calls, and I don't see too much buzzing in the chat. So I think we'll leave it there. Again, thank you to everyone who hits the like and the share. Thank you to the people who do support the work. And again, thank you to the super chatters tonight. Shout out to Steve Blur 33. Shout out to Tropes. Shout out to John Mendoza. And also, I don't know what this means when Rick James seems to do this a lot. What does that mean if you give somebody a Gematria Effect News 25 membership? I don't even know what that means, but thank you anyway, Rick James. And hold on, we got a no caller ID. No caller ID.
Yeah, man, I'm with you, man. You know, I'm tired of these fat slobs, you know.
Okay.
Too many fat fucks out here, you know. It's a fucking bad attitude. It's not so much the weight size. It's the attitude that comes with the fatness. You know, it's like they gotta have a fucking attitude. It's like you're fat already. We don't need the attitude to go with it, you know. Anyways, yeah, have a good one.
All right, later, man. I don't know. I haven't really noticed the attitude thing. It's just, I can't. It's just like the other day I was saying I was in the tire shop and a family comes in and everybody's obese in the family. Like everybody's mega obese. Plus they were tall. They were tall and obese, which is extra impressive when you think about it. It's like, God, those people must be eating a ton to fill out all that body with all that fat. But, I mean, it's like you're in the tire shop, and even in the tire shop, they can't even just go a minute. They're all at the vending machine with the sodas, and then they got a popcorn popper there. They're just scooping up. I mean, they were doing refill after refill on the popcorn. I was like, how about leave some popcorn for some other people who might come in today? My God. But nobody knows anything about nutrition. It's crazy, man. The 13 years of slave school just really makes an inept populace that knows nothing about nothing. They don't know how to save money. They don't know anything about their body. Just nothing. 13 years of slave school, and for most people, they come out knowing absolutely nothing. It's pathetic. Yeah, it's the reasons most Americans are so fat is because of how much sugar they're consuming through the food and through the beverages, especially just all the sugar drinks, the stuff they're putting in their coffee in the morning. It's like drink plain coffee. Oh, but plain coffee doesn't taste good. Oh my God, it doesn't taste that bad. Stop being so sugar addicted and needing everything to be so sweet. If you can't drink coffee without putting a bunch of crap in it that's bad for you, then don't drink coffee. Go to bed on time. I like this comment. I mean, you don't even, if you move your body even a little bit, like I'm saying right now, I don't work out enough, but I probably on average work out at least 5 minutes every day. And by not overeating and by working out just a little bit, I mean, I don't turn into a fat blob. And in fact, I stay at a healthy, normal weight. It's just, it's just like my arms are skinny. My arms used to be a lot stronger. I've lost my muscle mass because I don't work out enough, but, yeah, and eating in a disciplined window of time is so important. Like, your body's really not supposed to be eating just all around the clock, constant snacking. Once upon a time, we were in a world where, I mean, there's an abundance of food in the world, but just not like so much abundance in the way it is with all this processed junk on the shelves that people are constantly putting in their mouth. Yeah, walking, just moving your body. I mean, that's why it's so obvious that we're just meant to move. I mean, and we're not moving enough, and we're eating all kinds of toxic crap. Hold on. Sweet lady's calling me. She wants me. I know what that means. That means she wants me to wrap it up. So yeah, we'll leave it there for now. And again, thank you to everyone who does hit the like and the share. Thank you to everyone who does support the work. And until next time, True Seeker.